What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Sunday. This is we're gonna be talking about the most amazing show I've seen in a while. It is called 1899. It's on Netflix right now. The whole series, the first season's out. You can go watch it. You can binge it because that's what we did. It's quite a show. It's quite a ride. I loved it. It wasn't perfect. There was some problems, which we'll get into, but we had to talk about it. This is a really special show, and I'm here for it with some amazing panelists. We've got Scott from Sporking News Podcast. What's going on, Scott?
Not much. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this too. It was definitely one of those shows that kind of was a ride. I liked it. I was like, and then I loved it. So yeah.
There you go. I'm kind of the same way, but we'll get into that. And then we got Teresa. Oh, wait. Before we keep going, Scott, tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh yeah, you can find my demonetized channel on YouTube, and you can definitely support me on Rumble, and then Twitter and all the other stuff, Instagram.
Excellent. And then Teresa Martin is here. Ms. Martin Muses, what's going on?
Well, not much. I'm excited to be talking about this show. It was definitely something else. I'll say that.
It really was. Teresa, have you seen Dark?
No, I haven't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were the same people. I didn't realize that until after the fact. And the first season of Dark is amazing. So I think it's 3 seasons. It was great.
And then we got Jane Theory.
Hello.
The lady with all the theories. What's going on, Jane?
Going good.
Hi.
Happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. Tell everyone where they can find you before we get started.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. I post movie and TV reviews and occasionally some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble, all these places. And Jane Theory.
Yay! And real quick, just a backstory for me and my channel. Dark was actually the very first video that I came out with. It was my very, very first video on the channel was my Dark season 1 and 2 review because season 3 hadn't dropped yet. So I was excited for it and I wanted to talk about it because I was going crazy about that series in John Talks' channel. And Jane was like, "Oh my God, I've seen that show too." And then Jane and I did a review of it on his channel. That was so long ago.
It feels like forever.
I know. It feels so
good times though. I had so many notes.
I know. It was so great. And then I ruined the 3rd season for you guys. It was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But one of your guys, MJ UK84, said something like Dark was awesome. Dark had boobs because we were just talking about that. Like Dark had boobs. Like I wish this show had maybe butt boobs.
That was one of the things that was missing in this show was boobies.
Yep. Something.
We needed something. But we'll get into it. So first we're gonna do a little bit of a spoiler-free review for those of you who haven't seen the series yet. And then we'll get into the spoilers. We introduced Teresa already.
I'm sorry. I thought we went Teresa and then just went Jane. My bad.
Well, Teresa, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? I don't know if we did that part.
No, you didn't. Well, you can find me here on YouTube with Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Right now, we're going through the Elfstones of Shannara, having daily musings about many things. And I have a series upcoming where I am sourcing some of my research from Fire and Blood for those that maybe haven't read it but want to see some of the source material behind House of the Dragons.
Oh, that's going to be good to watch.
Nice. Awesome. Excellent. Okay. So, spoiler-free wise, why don't we start off with Jane? Jane, spoiler-free, what did you think of the series?
I thought it was fantastic. It was a roller coaster. It was a lot of questions that I had throughout, literally until the end. And I still have questions. I love a show that allows you to sort of go along with the ride that the characters are on. And that's what it felt like. It was just a lot of fun.
Excellent. That's great. Yeah, that's kind of very much in line with my own thinking. Teresa, what did you think?
Mixed feelings about it. I thought that it started strong. It lost me for a while and caught me at the very end.
Okay, there you go. Scott, what
Yeah,
about you?
I think I agree. I think it was. I felt almost Lost vibes there in the middle. Like, oh God, where is it going? But I was enjoying like seeing different people's stories. It wasn't just about the main female character. It was about everybody's story and how sin, I thought, and then you get surprised at the end and it was like blew me away. Like I was like really impressed. And I usually hate shows that use modern music in old shows.
I did too. Yeah, me too.
But I dug it. I dug because it was always at the very end, and it was always a really cool song. And
but it was also clues because you're like,
absolutely.
ooh, the music was clues. There were breadcrumbs that they were sprinkling out. This is why I don't think it's very much like Lost, actually, because I've heard this a lot. Because I made a thread about it on Twitter. And there was a bunch of comments like, this feels like Lost. This feels like Lost. And here's the thing. It doesn't feel like Lost to me because simply because I felt like they had a plan. They knew what they want to do. They knew where they want to take the story. It wasn't like J.J. Abrams was like, okay, we're going to make something and then.
Right. I mean, but
whatever
in
works.
Season 1, what I mean by Lost is like in Season 1, you didn't really understand what was going on. You didn't know everybody's motivation, but you have a valid point because by the end of this, you're like, that's it. Like in Lost, it took 10 seasons or whatever it was, and you're like,
And I think something like this, you have to have an ending, so to speak. Because you have so many different threads going in so many different directions with your twists and turns and layers upon layers. It's almost like Inception.
Yeah, it was.
If you're not, I could imagine them having not just a storyboard, but like towers of information, like physical layers, and cubes and things, and inside out. There's so much to it. There's no way you could have gotten this done without having planned every single step.
Exactly. And that's how I felt about it too. Now, I'm just for the spoiler-free portion of it, I'm gonna also lay this out because I've heard a bunch of people talk about how there's woke in it. Okay, here's the thing. This is a Netflix show. So obviously there's gonna be woke elements. And I thought that they did some woke elements. There was definitely things that could be perceived as woke.
Yeah, I didn't take it as woke.
I didn't think the story was woke. I didn't
get it.
Just because there's gay people in it or women are like not like 1899, women don't have the rights that the men have. Like that's just part of that world. They didn't. Yes, it got pushed a little bit, but woke is, I think we're just using that term way too loosely.
Yeah. Agreed.
It had reason behind it and it made you realize, okay, it's part of the story and you kind of needed it to show like how she was held back and the arrogant doctor and all that stuff. I thought it was worth it.
The message, though, I don't think was a predominant theme of the thing. The story was the theme, and the story is what they focused on, and that's why I wouldn't consider this a woke show, but I do consider it having woke elements in a sense that, for example, the gay couple had a very long, drawn out sex scene. But there was no when the straight couple was doing it, it was like 30 seconds. There was no nudity. I was, especially for females, which I was expecting because there was basically kind of like a geisha / like sex worker. And there was this one scene where like her madam is telling her to take off her clothes. And I was totally expecting there to be a boob shot. And then there wasn't. And it was all just like, oh, we're going to cover this and that. But with the gay scene, it was very explicit. So I was like, not explicit enough to show D or anything, but still.
No, but
I didn't really see that as woke, honestly. I saw that as, they were completely different stories. So the situations in which things were happening made sense to the scene, to me. Even we'll get to it. But like the scenes with the women in them, I felt like it made sense for them not to like show nudity or anything like that.
I
agree.
disagree.
I think it
with
would've
the
been
only
mixed.
the only
Oh no, I don't agree with that. They should have
Yeah.
showed nudity, Jane.
like the
We need
geisha part to show how like what a bad mistake that her decision was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I thought
Yeah,
it would have
her
been
vulnerability, it would have brought it out. There's
Yeah.
a lot of Asian girls
Yeah.
that would have shown tit. Like
yeah, or at
it's
least
fine.
one cheek. I don't know.
Something.
Something.
But you're so used to seeing that.
I see more man
different.
ass in the last couple of years in movies than girl butt, okay? And I'm saying, you know what? No more man ass, or at least equal to girl butt, please.
We need
They're
equal rights.
balancing it out.
God
They're
damn
balancing
it.
it out.
You flick too hard. Shut up. I want to see girl butt. Sorry.
Oh my God. I almost said I have that clip somewhere.
Flick too hard, damn it!
Absolutely.
It's true though. It's true. Now, okay. Okay, what does everybody give it out of 10 then? Season 1 out of 10. Scott, what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it. Wow, that's tough. I would say an 8. Like it was actually like a little lower, and then the last episode really like, oh shit, you know, like so. I will give it a solid 8, and that's a high one for me. So
Okay.
it's good.
All right, 8. Jane,
Yeah.
what do you give it?
Oh, 9.5 out of 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Almost perfect.
Wow, that's awesome.
Ms. Martin Muses, what do you give it?
Y'all gonna hate me. I gave it a 7 out of a 10.
Wow.
It did not keep me engaged. It went on way too long with the story on the ship. I'll put it that way, since this is non-spoiler. I was very quickly figuring out, I'm not so sure that this is going to mean a darn thing, so let's just get over it. We could have cut out some of those episodes and moved forward. I felt it was a bit, I don't know if indulgent is the right word or just too much, but it was not entertaining for me for a good portion of it.
So
Okay.
could I just say something on that?
Sure.
I understand what you're saying. If we weren't reviewing this, I don't know if I would have got past a couple of the episodes. But because I was like, oh, we're going to be reviewing this, I pushed through, and those indulgences, which I almost thought the same thing. Like, I don't need to know everybody's like complete story. Like just, but then like when that last episode, you're like, oh my God, I might want to know all these people. Like, what is this? I could do it more in the spoiler section, but
yeah.
I think it meant more than what indulgence. I think it's going to be more important in the next season.
That's why I was like, I'm going to watch it again. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to watch it again because that was really freaking good. I thought, I mean, it's really difficult for me to give it like a 10 out of 10 and even like 9.5. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to give it a 9.5. Just depending on like where this heading, I don't know. But for a first season, I'm going to give it a really high rating too. I think I'm with you, Jay, 9.5. Because 9 or 9.5, like whatever you want to say, but either way, there was definitely some slow parts. I agree with you, Teresa. There was some parts where I didn't expect certain things, and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling this kind of like woke-ish stuff. There was one part that seemed very woke, and then later on, when you get to the final episode, which I'm not spoiling right now, but when you get to that final episode, you kind of realize they're like, oh, that's why. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But you know, because of all that and because of the ending, I loved the ending. I was like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. So I'm giving a high rating. Definitely a must watch. And also, when I like, without giving the ending away, having watched the series and to the end, like the season, I think that even if they don't get a season 2, I would be fine with this as a standalone series. I would be fine with it because I feel like they ended it in a way that, yes, you could definitely go into so much more shit. There's a lot to go into.
Completely different series too.
Yeah,
you know, like
But
completely different.
yeah, you could go in so many different directions now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we don't get one, I'm fine having watched this one show and it being it. Like, that's fine.
Because you know why? Because that last episode, if it was only one season, that last episode, we can have debates on where it would have went.
Exactly.
For
and
a
that
very
is
long
why
time.
I'm fine with that. Like, because I'm kind of fine with a very open-ended ending where you
Yeah.
can make your own stuff and theorize about
Yeah.
what would have happened or how would you have done it and so on
I'll
and
be
so
so pissed
forth.
if there's not a season 2, though.
I know, but that's the thing. So here's the thing, though. There is, for now, there isn't going to be a season 2. They haven't signed on for a season 2. They want a season 2, but the creators have said that it depends on ratings, the talk of the town, what people are saying, all that stuff. Netflix is waiting to renew them to see what the reception is like. But so far, this is the headline that I saw going into this stream.
And overtaking the crown
That's a big thing.
That's a big
time.
one.
Oh, wow.
That's big.
And I love how this new Netflix period drama. Like, oh man, it's such a good show. Like now I'm okay, 8.5. 8.5.
Scott's rating just went up.
Well, it'll definitely get a second season, but I don't want one. I don't want those questions answered. From what you're all saying is like, not only could you end it, I think it shouldn't be.
I see what you mean too.
Very much like Terminator. Terminator should not have had a sequel, even though I like T2.
No, you're right.
The way it ended, where we just imagined what was going to play out, was creepier than what it really was.
I feel that. That's why I'm saying I would be fine with this as a first season or like a standalone season. Like I would be okay with it because I thought that they ended it very well.
Yeah.
But having said that, the reception seems to be really good. So we'll see. I think we are going to get a season 2. I'd still be excited for season 2 too. Like I mean, season 2 was great. So
after seeing Dark, I want that second season.
Yeah,
me too. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
They're
feel
talented.
Like this isn't going to be just answering certain questions. This is going to be a whole new tale.
Oh God,
with probably additional layers that we don't even know about. Like this, I can't.
I have a question when we get spoiler.
I'm so excited to be excited about something. Like that's one of the things that I really, really like the show. Like tonight, I was like thinking to myself, hey, should we go live and do this? Because I feel like a lot of people probably haven't seen it. And, you know, I don't know, but maybe there's like still watching it or whatever. But then I'm like, hell yeah, I want to talk about this show. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I want to know what is going on in everybody's theories, what they thought, what they didn't think. Yeah, and we want to push it.
I did it with Severance. Like I love Severance. Yes. Everywhere I go, I tell people to watch it.
Watch it. Yes. Severance is another good one, people. And we've reviewed it on this channel. So make sure you check that out. And also, that's one of the other reasons that I wanted to do this review tonight is because one of my goals for this Sunday show and one of my goals in general for this channel has been to show you what else is out there other than fucking Marvel. And
I'm so sick of bitching.
Yes, I'm sick of bitching, Scott. I'm sick of bitching about everything. I mean, we just kind of bitched for months or like weeks over, you know, Rings of Power. And those shows, mind you, are fun to like, you know, it's fun to shit on things.
It is, but I'd rather like introduce something to people like this. Really, I was not going to watch this until you guys said, oh, we're going to review it. I'm like, okay, I don't even know what it's about. I didn't have a clue that the people from Dark did it, because if I knew that, I would have already watched it. And I
told you it was from the people by Dark.
I don't read everything. I just saw $18.99. I was like, okay, put the kid down and start
Men
watching
don't
something.
pay attention.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
That's what happens.
But thank you.
Scott, everybody, we're going to go into the spoiler territory now. Everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Please make sure you smash the like, share the stream, tell everybody we're talking about the show. And yes, you got to give time to watch it, though. I understand, but we watched it and we're excited. So we want to talk about it. Maybe we'll have another show, another live stream where we can talk about it with everybody else as they watch it. But
right, because we still got Script and George and all of them trying to finish it.
We can do another one. We can do another one. They're still going to be around too. I know Script Doctor told me he thought it was pretentious. And I was like, oh.
He's Canadian.
Yeah, well, I agreed with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to see why
you speak with one voice.
What?
That's true.
He doesn't like John Krasinski.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so yeah, you'll have to come back. It's okay, Clay.
Yeah.
But it is a good show, and now we're gonna start talking spoilers. So if you're not you don't want to hear it, spoilers, and I really recommend you don't, because this show really needs to be watched in its purity.
Honestly, I have no idea what happened.
I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again.
And I couldn't explain it to you, but it's great.
Because none of it was real.
Yeah.
Come back when you're done watching it. We're gonna start reviewing it now. Spoilers ahead, people. Okay, now that you've been warned sufficiently, let's start.
Holy
where do
crap.
we even want to start? Like, holy shit. Okay,
from the beginning.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. We're introduced to a bunch of characters that are going on a ship. I mean, it's pretty freaking simple.
But are we? No, we're introduced to a woman waking up on a ship.
Yeah, having said that, though.
Yeah.
Every single episode is kind of like starting with this dream sequence.
Yes.
And you're like, well, you know, what the F is going on? This is some sort of weird dream sequence where this lady is like in a mental institution. She sees a shadowy figure. He's older. She wakes up, and in the dream sequence, she's being like strapped down to a chair, and she wakes up, and the markings of the chair are still manifested on her skin. So she's like, what the heck is going on? And the show starts, and she's like on this ship, and she looks at a couple of things around her. She's received a letter from someone that says, you know, the truth shall be revealed, or something like that. And also she sees a newspaper clipping saying that the sister ship of this ship, which is called the Prometheus, has been missing for 4 months. And this is the sister ship that's doing the same route, but like, you know, obviously it's still there. And that's kind of like the premise. So you're like, okay, this is the show. This is the start of something. I'm on an adventure, and I'm going to see what happens. So take it away, somebody. Okay. Scott. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what. So when she wakes up, now I can't remember if the first episode does this, but a lot of the dream sequences, when they wake up, it's like you're coming through their pupil with a triangle. So the minute I saw that, I started looking for pyramids, triangles, upside. Like I was thinking Illuminati. I don't know. Like I start always looking for Easter egg symbols, and there were so many triangles in her room. People she meets wearing earrings, but so she gets up. You could tell she's disheveled. You know, she's looking something about her brother, but other than that, you don't know much about her. And I believe that first thing she does is goes into the dining hall, correct? And that's where you start hearing other people. You know, you got the snobby rich woman, you think, the rich douchebag, the priest, like you got all these different characters you're getting to meet.
It's so crazy because as I'm like going through the episode right now, I'm already like, oh my God, there's so many clues. Right. Like look at this. Like this is like her desk on the opening scene. There's like, you know, she's supposed to be a brain doctor, but she's, you know, not a practicing one. Yeah, not a practicing one because she's a woman.
Yeah. God, those were the good old days.
Yeah, like, dude.
What does that book say right there on the left, though? Because there's like things like they paused on that book later on the season.
Yeah, The Awakening.
That's okay.
I'll get it. Awakening.
Yeah. By Kate Choplin. They do that a bunch of times. They zoom in on this book a bunch. I was like, why are you doing that? Because everything in this show is planned.
They did an excellent job planning.
And then so she goes into the dining hall, and then she meets basically kind of like the people. But before she goes into the dining hall, we get a glimpse of all the people down below as well, like the below decks, how they're working. And I actually really like those two people that were shoveling the coal.
Yes.
I thought the dialogue was great.
Dude, they're hilarious. They were hilarious with the garlic. I mean, later on with the garlic.
Yeah, with the garlic. That was funny.
That's like an argument like me and my friends would have like, dude, where was, like just, it was so good. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the Titanic too. The people in the
separation.
different I don't know what you call it, different levels. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Classes.
Different
Yes.
Classes.
And how the lower classes were forced
Yeah.
back down there when they got out.
Yeah, and locked up.
This is the picture of the cast here. So you get to meet a
Yeah.
bunch of them, including I guess this is kind of like the first one you meet, because you go like the below decks guy, you meet Oleg.
Yeah.
That was one of the first people. He's a coal shoveler.
Yep.
I really liked Oleg.
I thought he was going to be a weirdo, and he turned out to be like the sweetest guy on the ship.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, let me ask you this before we go on. Who was your favorite character? Because there was a lot of characters.
Oh.
I like the captain.
He is ruggedly good looking.
He's
Oh,
great.
hell yes.
love the
I am
captain.
like,
Yeah,
dude,
and he
I
spoke
was
German.
one of those moments where I was like, damn it. Like, God, why do you have to look that good, man?
Wow, Scott,
I was a
God.
little
He's
upset
doing
by
it for me.
Yeah.
That's why he's looking that good.
I actually thought he was Guy Pearce at first
Oh yeah.
for the longest.
Dude, I knew who he was, because the second I saw him, I was like, it's Jonas. I
Oh,
love you.
shit, that's why. Okay.
Oh
yeah,
my
'cause
god! Is
I
it?
didn't even put that
yes,
together.
he's the guy from Dark.
Yeah,
He's
I didn't even
Jonas.
put that because I was like,
I
I know
did
this guy.
not-
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Oh my
Wow.
god! I was like literally, I was like, oh my god, please tell me your name is Jonas in this world too. 'Cause
God,
I
he
kept
was so
calling him.
familiar, and I was like, why do I know it? Gee, I
And
was
I
going to
was-
look it up too, but I didn't.
I was watching it with my husband, and that's the first thing he said too. He's like, "Is that Jonas?" I was like, "Yes, it's Jonas. This
Wow.
is amazing."
He's such a good actor.
Teresa,
Good
you'll find
job.
out what
Good
we're
job,
talking
acting.
about when you watch
Oh.
Dark.
Yeah.
Was Dark Mind F dash 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 as much as this is?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh dear.
yeah.
Probably
It's
even
so
more.
good. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because Dark is about time travel.
Yeah.
This is not about time travel.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
That we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
Not in
we
this
don't know
season.
if it's all.
Yeah. It could
Yeah,
be
not in
layer,
this
a layer,
season.
a layer.
Anyways, maybe
Yeah.
maybe there's other layers, but
We'll talk
not-
about that at the end because we might have some theories.
Yeah, it's Jonas, aka Adam,
Yep.
also known as. But yeah, he's the older version. He's the medium version, because there's the old dude and then there's the young dude. And he's the medium one.
Dark
Wait,
and layers on layers on layers.
yes, that was definitely one of those shows too. And then there was a really funny part in this where, because when Oleg goes to like shovel coal, because they were like, "There's something up there," or like, "Go fix this thing," and then he goes up there and he hears something, and I'm like, "Uh oh, somebody's stowing away,"
Right.
and then the person that comes out, he's like this black dude. And for a hot minute, I thought he wasn't black. Like, I thought he was white guy
coal?
that was like in a coal and had
Yeah.
the like blackface all over him. And I was like, wait a minute, he is a black dude.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was like, at first, Scott, I was like, these German people are really going hard with this one. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a black dude. That was funny.
That's funny.
Did you not think it was a blackface dude? I swear to God, I
No,
was like, is
just
that
thought it
guy
was
white?
No, I did. I'm not gonna lie. For a split second, I was like, that dude was under the coal, and then I was like, oh, because I really thought like he was hidden under there. Because at first I thought it was gonna be like a monster, like because like I thought it was gonna be like a weird.
It's
monster
a ghost
up there.
ship, so you're like, well, what is
Yeah.
this? Is it a monster or something? Yeah,
Right,
he's like
right.
in here.
And then like he comes out, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay, yep.
And
But
then-
then in my head, I'm sorry, really quick, when he steals like the clothing from the other people, I'm like, okay, he's not gonna fit in with the crew. Like, you're gonna tell me like no one's gonna all of a sudden be like, when did we pick up a black crew member? Like they've been on the ship with the captain for 12 years. They're a bunch of token white dudes.
I
Like,
know.
I was
'Cause
just a little
that guy
confused.
was like, oh, you've been here, haven't you? And I'm like, how can you not tell
Right.
that this guy's not part of your crew?
I mean, I know it's a big ship, but there's like 2 Asian ladies and 1 black guy. Like that's it. That's
He
it.
would have fit more so as a passenger than crew, probably.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, I
It's
agree.
kind of odd.
So then we go into the dining hall. We meet the different characters, the different players. Now, okay, let me start this saying this too, by the way. You have to watch this show in the original language, not the dubbed. Because if you watch it in
see, I didn't
dubbed,
do that.
if you watch it in dubbed, you're gonna miss so much. You did you watch it in dubbed?
Yes.
I watched it in dub.
Now I got to go back and watch it in subtitles.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
because
the
you
original
miss
languages.
everything with regards to the original languages, because
Ooh.
that's everyone
Oh,
is
that is
talking
true.
their own language.
That is true.
So when you're except for the English people will speak English, but
Really?
everybody else is speaking
Really?
their own
Oh
language.
no, but they
Yeah.
never do it in dub. They all just speak English.
They all speaking English now, but in the
Like-
real version,
Oh, you get
Yeah,
French.
like I said, that's
you
why
get-
the captain was speaking German and sounding
Mhm.
sexy, speaking German.
yes. And then he would switch to English because he's bilingual.
Yeah, when he would talk to the chick, and then the Danish and Polish and all sorts.
Wow,
of stuff.
so they were just all speaking different languages.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's why some of the
Diversity.
stuff didn't really make sense.
Where they're like, hola. You know, and now I get
That's
it.
why
Okay.
some of the stuff didn't really make sense when they're like talking to each other and they don't know each other's languages. So there's like, for example, there's a scene where the Spanish guy is talking to the Dutch dad,
Mhm.
and like the Spanish black guy is talking, or the Spanish the guy with the mustache, he's talking to the Dutch dad, and they don't know each other's languages, but the father is like basically pouring his heart out to him,
Right.
and the only thing he can do is like kind of grab his hand and tell him like, you know, in the end your sins will be forgiven. But in the dub version you would miss that, whereas in the
Yeah.
original you're kind of like, oh my god, he doesn't understand what this guy's saying at all. Like,
Oh my god, that just put another big layer on this show.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
have to now watch it again.
Because
yes,
like,
Jane, you have to. It's part of the show is the fact that they don't all speak each other's languages.
Yeah, and
Wow.
well, and I was watching the behind the scenes thing about how they had to have all different like language consultants because some of them
Mhm.
really literally could not communicate with each other.
so can I ask a question? The geisha girl, did she speak English at all?
Japanese and Chinese.
Yeah, Japanese.
So
and
how?
Chinese.
So her and what's his name never were able to truly communicate.
No.
Oh my god, that's even more beautiful.
Because
That is.
she speaks Chinese because she's not even Japanese. She's a Chinese
Right.
girl.
Mhm.
And then he speaks Polish or whatever. I think
Yeah.
he was
He
Polish.
was
Oh
Polish.
my god, they
Oh,
all knew each other's names.
Yeah, so they're
Mhm.
kind of miming and using their eyes and their gestures,
Body
It's very-
language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna rewatch it.
That's
Shit.
a whole. Oh my god.
There is so much, because that's what happened with me is I started it with dub, and then the moment we came into this dining room, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was
These
weird.
people
I
are
gotcha.
all speaking different languages, because these guys were French. They were the French couple. The other couple were like there was Japanese people there, and I'm like, there's no way these people are speaking English. So let me check this, and then it was like, oh, they're kind of speaking Japanese, but then that one girl switches to Chinese, and that's like that's a whole part of the story.
Right.
Definitely watch it in the original.
Somebody
So
thought
wait a
you
minute,
wear a
fun-
corset.
Funny Pump says Netflix didn't have the original language version.
What do you mean?
You're just saying subtitles and it has the one of your people says Netflix didn't have the original, but
It says like if you go to the Netflix thing, I think, you know what, I can probably show it right here because I'm on Netflix right now. If you go to it, it says original English or original dub. I think that's what it says.
Mhm.
There it is, original
Oh, okay.
English dub. So this is what you want. You want English original,
Okay.
not English dub.
Okay.
And so
That's
yeah,
really cool.
the geisha chick, you meet her. Her madam though, the lady
Yes.
that she's British.
Oh,
So
okay.
she speaks English, but she's
dubbed her weird.
bilingual.
Oh,
so she
so
can she can communicate with a Chinese girl.
Mhm.
And she basically understands like pretty much all the characters because she's bilingual, and she's a madam, and it makes sense because she has clientele, so
Right.
she needs to know the different languages in order to sell her wares,
Yep.
which are women.
God, man, thank you for telling me that. Really, because now I am going to
Wow.
rewatch it, and we'll have to then talk about it again. So this makes sense. All right, good.
We'll talk about it again. I'm down with doing it.
I think we need to do stuff like that, like you said, word of mouth. like if we have more videos, like something I'm going to do a little something on my channel out down the way, because I hate the binge model because it won't be talked about in a few weeks.
No.
And that's when things disappear. So like, I wish they did like maybe dropped this one. I'm glad they did, because I probably wouldn't have kept watching it, but it's one of those that one, but like next season, drop 3 episodes like Amazon does, and then give me weekly.
Bro, I was fine with the binge on this one, man. I was like,
needed it
I
on
need
this first season.
binge on
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah.
I think if they had done it the other way, I would have probably waited and watched it so I can binge it. Like, I don't think I would have watched it like one at a time.
I would have stopped watching it probably. So it was okay. Yeah.
And like someone said too in the chat, it is sort of like actual diversity. If I had seen that, like that would have come across as all these different people giving me some understanding of that they're coming from different places, different cultures, and that there may be sort of inherent conflicts with that. I think sometimes that's the issue with the quote unquote woke stuff, is that because it's coming from America and pretty much everybody here speaks English and belongs more or less to the same culture, the only diversity we understand is diversity of color.
Yes.
But outside in the real world, like outside America, there's so much, there's actual people are different no matter what they look like. And that's an amazing thing to finally see in a television or film format.
Yeah, and it was really really done well in this show, because it also shows like it's 1899. These people are very strange towards each other. Like, you know, like
the world is huge at that time.
Yeah, like look at that Asian girl. Like they're like, you know, they're kind of like very mystified by her because she's mysterious. She's like, oh hell look at her, you know.
That would have been way better if they showed her butt then.
No,
Let me ask a question.
I didn't want to.
Let me ask a question then. When the French guy is like talking to her about, I always wanted to go to Japan. She doesn't
understand it.
Damn, man,
doesn't
that would have been so
anything.
much. Oh my god! And he's like pouring out his soul to her later on. Like, wow.
That's why when he like had a seizure,
the seizure, right?
And she just kind of laid there and she knew. It's like, it's the human connection. That's what this is trying to portray, is that human connection is stronger than even language. Like that is what it's trying to say, is that we portray our sadness, our sorrow, our happiness, like everything through our body language versus just like talking to each other. It's very, in that sense, it was very nicely done. I'm trying to get a screen grab of the Spanish couple. But for some reason won't pause on there. But okay, so you meet they're kind of like a couple, but they're not. They're in at the beginning when you meet them, they are a brother, like they're supposed to be brothers.
Yeah.
And one of them is a priest, a priest, and the other is like a businessman. And I thought that this guy right here was a complete psychopath. I hated that character the whole time. I was like, why doesn't this guy die? Like,
that was one of the things that I thought they were going to go in a woke direction with.
Yes.
And then, as it turns out, they gave him an entire arc and a lot of a real personality as a human being, and just you came to know who he was and his motivations and why he was acting that way and how he felt. And it was just, very well.
I liked him at the end when they're down in the pit shoveling. Like I was like,
I didn't. He was a psychopath. He was a full-on psychopath. I was like, I don't like you at all.
But when that sound started and he started singing, it broke him. And then after that point, he was a different character, completely different character.
That's also true. George the Giant Slayer just gifted 10 memberships to the chat. George. You're amazing, George. Thank you. George, come hang out with us if you watched it.
Yeah. Or come on a Saturday sometime, George. You remember me?
Oh my God. Quit being so desperate, Scott.
I'm such a I am a slut.
And then after that dining room scene, we kind of get introduced to all the major players. And then we're also told that the lady is a doctor and she's not a practicing one because, you know, she's a woman, blah, blah, blah. See, again, these things that they're laying out.
Set it up.
You could portray this as like, if you're someone who's like hypersensitive to woke, you'll be like, oh my God, this is so woke. but it's like it's not. Like that's the story, and
Right.
it's
Her being a
$18.99.
doctor?
Yeah, that's exactly the way it was,
Yep.
if there were any.
I actually, Teresa, I found it to be one of those things where like it didn't even register until like the gay, like the hyper gay like character that you hate. Nina.
Oh my
like,
God.
no, that was the only.
Man. Oh, never use the wrong name.
I'm just
I gave my love a cherry that I know. No,
he calls
but
me the wrong name.
I did because I'm so excited about this show.
I love you, Scott.
I love you too. But like he was the one that I was like, this is just uber weird woke. But the rest of it was that is the time period. Why wouldn't they? You know, a woman that pushed the limits and went to. My grandmother was a woman who was the only person in her family ever to go to college. She was a woman that went to college, got a master's degree, and ended up being a housewife. You know, like because they wouldn't allow her to get a job which she was way qualified for. That was the time. So I like when they have that in the story. It's like you said, Nina, when they overboard it in the story on American TVs and movies.
Part of it. It's part of the story. And if you're hypersensitive to woke, you might be turned off. But you know what? Keep going because it's not. It's
It
not.
kind of it
Go ahead.
reminded me of Dr. Quinn,
Yes.
Medicine Woman.
Medicine Woman. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
that's
was
a
going
good
to say
one.
that was the big show that had that. Well, and to your point, Nina, they also, if this was a different show, a worse crafted show, she would be posturing and pausing and going, "Let me have this speech. Oh, women, how
Great
we're
point.
oppressed and
Yep.
no one loves me for my mind."
She never once comes at anybody about her being smart. Even
No.
when that doctor looks over the first body and he's like, I'm going to go finish my sandwich. Women don't have the... And she never even says a word about it. She just then goes and she asked the captain later on, like, why did you ask me to come down there? And he was like, because I trust your, I wanted a second opinion and I feel like I could trust you. Like, that was it.
And he was like, contrary to what he said, I don't think that you're, swayed by emotion. And she just kind of looked at him and she was like, thank you. Like, and it was like, that's it. Like, that's like, if it was woke, she would have been like into a monologue. That's right.
Yeah.
Women are so great. And no one ever listens to us. It's like, no,
I learned to deal with anger every day.
Yeah. And I can't express it.
Yeah.
Damn it. And by the way, they're forcing me to wear a corset. Let me talk about corsets all day and all night.
And they wouldn't have let her do it. They wouldn't have let her help with the baby because she's a woman. You can't do anything. And then she would complain about it the entire show. But this time, people actually said, "Okay, should we trust her? Shouldn't we trust her?" Well, she seems to know what she's doing.
That's even better than what you just said. Even when they go down below after this part, someone comes running up, my sister's, and having a problem with the baby.
He's also one of the main characters.
Yes.
I think his name was Crester. It's this guy right here.
Yep.
He barges into the dining room saying, like, so I need help. I need help. I need a doctor. I need a doctor. No, he doesn't say what is exactly happening.
Right, that's true. Yep.
But he talks about, he's like, I need a doctor. She's about to die. Please help me. And like, and then they kind of like zoom in on the male doctor in the dining room. And like, he's just like eating his food, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So this girl gets up and she's like, okay, like what's going on? And she goes and she follows him and she sees that he's being like kind of like escorted back, which the guy that was escorting him actually becomes another main character right here. This guy.
Yeah.
And
a great arc in his. He had a
really
great arc.
Good
too.
arc.
Yeah,
really good arc.
Really.
Oh man, I got the chills at his last scene.
Me too. I didn't like this guy at all.
Again, yeah.
Until the end, but I hated the gay guy all the way through. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Such a sexist.
This is another guy too, where you sort of immediately think, "Oh, he's a white guy. He's the enemy."
Oh yeah,
he's a bad guy. But then he has that evolution, and you start to see and feel more empathy for him.
Yep.
Yes.
But
definitely.
When
real quick, let me get the super chat from George. George, thank you
George.
so much for the $10. Says, love you guys. You all are amazing. Listen to you in the car on the way to the airport. Nina is the best. All hail Jane Sport. Jane and Miss Martin uses. He said Jane twice. I think he really likes
likes you.
really like Jane. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. You're amazing. Love
He is.
you. Love you, dude. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Because I know you're gonna go pick up family members for Thanksgiving.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay. So yeah. So then they go below deck. Deck. Below deck. Okay. And I gotta enunciate in the show. So then they go to the place where like basically all the crew are at and all the second class people. Well, I guess third class, because I mean these people are really freaking
steerage.
Yeah. And then so then we meet another few of the main characters, which is the sister who is pregnant of that guy. I think her name was Tolif or something. We meet the mother and the father of the girl and the brother, and of course the sister. And so they're a family. She's pregnant. She's her baby is just like is fucked up, like needs to be turned. And the doctor does her thing and fixes the baby.
And what I liked about that scene is like they turn to the father. So at first the dad is, you think he's like this. I thought right off the rip, he must be the leader either of a community or religious leader. And they all look to him like, she can't do this. And he doesn't say a word. He allows it to happen. So it was like, okay, it's not woke. Because he would have been like, no, you female touching my daughter. I'd rather her die.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Scott. And this was one of the things that I was thinking this is woke. Like at first, was that he was kind of a simp towards his wife, who was like a total Karen. So like no matter what she would do, he'd be like, okay, like, you know. And I was just like, why is this guy so beta? Like,
he was definitely. I still think he was beta through the whole thing.
The entire thing, I was like, why are you so beta? But then, like,
it was so much.
In the last episode, something gets explained to me. Now, okay, you know what? I'm gonna jump.
God, what a good show.
I'm gonna jump here.
Time jump. Let's do the time warp again.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit of time. So because when we get into her story, like the backstory of the pregnant girl, we find out how she becomes pregnant. And that scene when she's being raped by that one dude, and the dad doesn't do anything. At that moment, I was 100% sure that the entire thing wasn't real. Because I was like, there's no way in
dad
hell
would do that.
a dad would watch that go down. Like, there's just no way. Like, these people might not even be related at that point. That's what I was like. There's no freaking way that would happen. What did you guys say? And that was also one of the scenes where I was like, this could be really freaking woke. And I was actually really mad about it because like at the time I was like, I still don't know what was going to happen. So I was like, oh, of course, no man's going to rescue her. Not even her father, like, you know, because she's a big, strong, independent woman, like don't need no help. And she's just going to kill the rapist all by herself and everything. But in reality, that would be very different. And it made sense later on why she was the protagonist of her own story, because it wasn't real. So...
in hindsight, these things were all hints, and you just view everything that you've seen. You're questioning it just like the characters themselves are as they're becoming aware.
I think too, it reminded me of that scene in Crash where the black couple gets pulled over and the police officer is groping the girl, and she's upset with the guy because he didn't do anything about it. And it's like, I hated that scene too, because I'm like, I don't care if you have to die. Like, die.
I've never liked Terrence Howard since. I've never liked him since.
I know. But, you know, the counter argument was the person you're going up against is armed, like in either case, and they will kill all of you.
We're all going to die then. Okay.
So
but he was giving her at that point, Jane. There was no weapon around.
I don't know that he was. I didn't get that though. That was what happened.
I gotta watch that scene again.
He did it to her right in front of the family, and they were all like huddled together.
I got the sense that because he had the gun pointed at them, that he was the one who was making decisions about who was going to go with him or who was going to get hurt or who was going to die. They were unarmed completely. At least that's how I looked at it. Like, he came over to them with a weapon and made them all get over there and took her, and they didn't quite understand what was going to happen with her. until he started going down this path. And that's when you started to see the family start to freak out. And then he grabbed her, and then everyone knew what was about to happen.
But
I
then,
would
either
kill that. I
way-
would have died.
no, I would have died too. I would have been like, we're all dead.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
There's no
gonna-
way.
Well,
See
but
you in
that's
the
the
next life.
thing. Okay, so say the dad lunged and attacked him, and he shot the dad. Now he's not there to protect anyone else, and his daughter's going to stay with him. So he doesn't live another day to try again or come up with some solution for getting his daughter back. Now she's
Mofos are
stuck
gonna die.
permanently with this.
No,
dad.
because she was fighting back, Jane, and he didn't even jump in to help. And that there was a point where he really could have, because she was just like out of it, and
Yep.
then that guy was riding her like on top.
Yep.
He was very what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerable at
Yep.
that moment.
Yep.
Like, you just take a fucking massive rock to the head.
I literally
Done.
would have ripped
You're
his throat
out.
out. Like, I'm sorry, as a dad, like, no, I probably wouldn't have even thought of anything else other than that. And I probably would have died, and it probably would have been horrible for the rest of my family. But I'm sorry. It's called, like, what is it? Fight or
Instinct.
flight. I'm
Yes.
fighting. I will go through everybody. Like, hopefully the bullets that I have so much adrenaline that I would at least reach him where I could rip his eyes out, or like, gouge his eyes, rip his dick off, something before, like, cause I couldn't watch that scene. Ugh.
I feel you, dude. That's how I felt too. Like, I was like, there's no way that dude, that the dad wouldn't have done something. There's
He was
just
weak.
no way. I'm trying to find that scene, but I can't. Even
Yeah, I
find
know.
it.
I'm trying to remember exactly what episode that was.
Because like once you watch the show, it's like everything kind of like blends together.
Yep.
So you're like, wait, well, which part was that again? Like it feels so far, like long ago, but I don't think it was like, it wasn't in the beginning of the show though. It was kind of like later on
Mm-hmm.
that happened. But anyways, I'm sure I'll find it. We go back to talking about episode 1, where because after she rescues the pregnant girl. She goes up to the because she has a panic attack that triggers her memory, and she goes to the deck to get some air, like above deck to get some air, and then this is where we finally meet the captain, and I was
The
like,
hot
oh my
captain.
god,
He's so handsome.
it's Jonas, I love you, please.
There he is.
He's so handsome. Like, God.
Look at him with his, coat all pulled up around
Yeah.
his neck.
Yeah,
The scar, even.
the little
like,
scar,
God damn it.
yeah. So sexy. Cat Shark for $2 says, "I'm not rich, but I'll show a little support. I love you, Cat Shark. Thank you. You don't. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry." But yeah, he was just great, and he's like, "What are you doing down there? Like first class passengers aren't allowed to go up there or down there." And she's all like, "Well, somebody was dying. You might want to know what's going on your ship, kind of thing." And then we meet another person, which is the first mate. And this guy, I didn't see coming. Like, I was like,
No.
wait, what? Like, he just kind of seemed like a secondary character. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, who cares?
I felt like he was going to be manipulated by that other guy to mutiny. You know what I
His
mean? Like,
reveal was so freaking cool, though.
yes.
Mhm. I was like, what? Like, this guy's actually important?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even care about him at first because I was like, who cares? He's just like
let-
this first mate. Like,
Let me ask you something though. Like, okay, I'm jumping a little ahead, but like,
Go ahead.
once
Go
you realize something weird is going on,
Mhm.
did you think, even though they're giving other people's stories, like I thought the story was going to be the captain, the girl, the boy, and the other weird guy. Like turns out to be someone special. But like that's who I thought that was it. Everybody else was secondary, and you find out like really no one is secondary. Like
No.
there's so many people that they are the star. I think you said
They
it,
matter.
Teresa. They are the protagonists. They are the star of their own show. But like we see it from the doctor's eyes
And
the
they're
captain's
there
eyes.
for a reason.
Yes.
Like all of them have a reason for being there, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to figure out or to find out what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want it. That's why I want a second season,
Right.
but I also don't. And I have
Yeah.
my own theories as to why these people are there, by the way. I just haven't shared it.
That's what I said to see is always right.
But see, what
my
if there's no rhyme or reason?
well, if there is no rhyme
Impossible.
or reason, which is possible, I'm fine with the first, like, just the season being that.
Okay.
This is like a long, drawn out Star Trek episode where people are stuck in what we will reveal later on. It's
Yeah.
just like that.
I just don't think there's no reason. I think they have this whole thing plotted. Now, whether we get another season where they can continue their story is a different thing. But I think I completely trust them.
I do
trust
too.
that they have it.
I do
They
too.
have a plan. They have an ending.
And they have and they have the right to be trusted because
Yes.
of Dark.
Yes.
Like, it's not this is not Lost 2.0.
Nope.
Kev.
Okay.
Because they have a series that they started and finished. Now that, like, some people like myself didn't love the ending, but the
No, me
ending was
either,
still a
but-
good ending. Like,
Yep.
it was
was an
fine.
ending.
It was an ending,
ending,
and
yeah.
it was fine. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best ending because I thought, like, the stuff that I thought about was way cooler. But having said that, it was still an ending and it was fine. Lost wasn't, and it went on for 8 years.
Yeah, they didn't know how they
Okay.
were going to end Lost.
They didn't know
They
what
got
they
lost.
wanted to do.
6. Well, 6 was
So-
6 seasons of Lost was 6 too many, as it turned out.
Yeah,
But-
it really was.
And also,
okay,
we're
see-
forgetting that Lost was like 24 episodes each season, man. Like,
Oh,
we're
it's
talking old school shit. This is 8 episodes. 8.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll stand a little bit corrected since I have not seen Dark. So I don't trust anyone right now. So
Understand.
if you say I should be able to trust them, then perhaps I will.
Yeah.
I
They're
mean, I think
storytellers.
so.
They are storytellers.
Okay.
They
well,
are.
Yeah.
They
I
are.
really enjoyed Dark a lot. But again, that third season was what it was. But they wrapped it up, and that first season still is one of the best seasons of TV
Yeah.
I've ever watched.
That's one of those shows where I would just pause
Yeah,
Mhm.
and just take it in.
yeah. I'd
Like,
be like,
Me
"Whew."
too, man.
Yep.
no, I had to breathe.
Yep.
through
I
that
like
show.
with Lost too. Like, I will say this. I thought Lost was better in the first season, like, than this, because I just think Lost was another level, like,
Right.
of content in the
Mhm.
first season, especially. There was one of the things that really stuck out to me in Lost, and I thought it was lacking a little bit in this one. And Jane, you'll probably agree with me because I know you feel the same way. It was the soundtrack, because Lost soundtrack
Yeah.
was another level, like,
Beautiful.
of
Mhm.
wow.
Still good.
Still good. I mean, I still have it on my freaking Spotify. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yep.
The composition of Dark is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with this show, I felt like they could have stepped it up a little bit with the composition.
Yeah, they dropped the
would've been
ball a
better.
little bit
And-
there. But there's
A little
nothing
bit.
memorable. There's nothing memorable.
Exactly.
The Dark soundtrack, I hear it and I feel it.
Me
Okay.
too.
I disagree a little bit. It isn't memorable in the way of like a new composition is, a new, like instrumental type stuff. But after watching the whole series, and I don't know if I said it backstage or on right now live, I hate when you do a period piece and then there's music from like recent. I freaking hate that more than anything. And I loved it in this. I hated it at first, but every time I was like, wait a minute, that means something.
But Scott, even, like, yes, you're right. But even the first theme of the song, like the opening theme
Yeah.
of this show,
Yeah.
is a remixed version of
Right.
that other song.
Right.
Dark was not. It
No,
was
that's
original.
why it was beautiful. Yeah.
So, like,
Dark-
it was like,
I stopped when I first heard it, like the actual like soundtrack.
mhm.
I stopped when I heard it and just had to just close my eyes and just listen to just that because it's so beautiful. Like, it's
It is.
moving. And I didn't get that here at all. In fact, I would say the sound design in this film isn't that great.
Right.
If
I
there's
agree.
anything to truly criticize, I think that would be it.
I think that was the weakest thing, was the sound and the music, the composition. It should have been better. They should.
Oh,
I
God,
don't know if they got the same guy that did Dark or not. They should have. I don't know if they did though.
I hate how they used White Rabbit, an alternative version of it as their theme song.
Hated
Like,
it.
I hated it, but I loved when
I
Grace
hated
Slick.
it.
I love when Grace Slick was singing at the very end of the episode because she's just powerful. But I didn't like it when I first saw it. But by the end, when we heard like Bowie, I'm like, God damn, everything.
I mean,
was, like,
I
meant
get why
something.
they did it, but I didn't like it. I
I
wanted them
did.
to go original.
Oh no, I
don't
wish
get
most
it.
of it was original. I wish most.
I don't get it. I hated it. It reminded me of the Matrix sequels, and I just couldn't. It was triggering.
Why, you can't have a rave in a cave?
And they had the black suit and everything too.
But getting back to this episode, though, so we get introduced to the captain who's lost his family, or so we're told. It was, and you know what else was like the most heartbreaking? The fact that his wife's name was Nina. I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me right now," because I heard Nina.
Because your name's Nina.
Is it?
Yes, Forky.
I got it right this time.
And and then they show the scene where the wife's burning down, and I'm like, no, Nina, no. Like freaking out. I'm like, why is Nina's always getting screwed in these shows? But whatever, it was fine.
Another Nina.
Wait, was it? What was Nina in again recently? Oh, it was Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I was the tub that she sat in. She was the experiment. Right.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. Wait, did you say you were a bathtub?
Yeah.
Or a tub?
More like a deprivation tub.
Yeah, like a deprivation tank.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was. It was called Nina. And I was like, oh, okay. Because at first they're like, oh my God, it's the Nina Project. And I was like, what is it? Like, is it going to be AI?
No, that's Jane.
Yeah, that's Jane.
You just made me think of a question I have for the end.
Go ahead.
AI thing.
Okay, we'll write it down.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you, because I'll totally.
It's probably the same question I have.
You know,
it's probably the same question I have too,
Okay,
because I have that question as well.
I'm just gonna put it in the private chat right now.
Okay, do it. We're all on the same page on that one. Yeah, I know. I'm just getting represented in film these days. It's like, first I get that Persian girl in the, Rings of Power, 2 Persian girls. Like, hell yeah. And then now it's like Nina's just everywhere. It's great. It's great.
So validated.
I mean, if we're in a simulation, it could mean something.
That's
Ooh,
interesting.
yeah, these would be
Scott,
clues.
but we're gonna talk about that later.
All right,
I don't think so. I have my own theory, but I don't know. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking.
We'll bounce. Okay.
I was talking about the real world.
You're talking about the real world?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a simulation. Or,
I don't know.
We could
Maybe.
totally.
Well,
and if it is,
some of the
why
deeper
did I
thoughts.
get this role? It sucks.
Well, we tried doing other things, and maybe it didn't work out.
Yeah. I want to be an actor or someone important. Eating steak, Matrix. I tried to go back to that. Sorry.
That's okay. So we find out a little bit more about the Asian couple, all that stuff. The mother and daughter are there, blah, blah, blah. She's a hooker now. She doesn't want to be a hooker, all this stuff. And meanwhile, the captain gets basically is told by the first mate and all these people that they've been getting a mysterious message over and over for a day, and it hasn't stopped, and it's just giving them these coordinates, and the captain's just like this brooding, like handsome dude, and he's like, what is this about? Okay. And he's like, okay, well, we got to go check it out. I want to go check this out. And the girl is really down to check it out because she thinks that her brother was on the missing ship Prometheus. And she's very excited to see what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But some people are not, because they're like, why should we go? Because he's just down. He's like, we're going to go to the ship. Like, we're going to go to the coordinates. He holds a meeting in the dining hall, and he's telling the passengers what's happening, and the dining hall people are like, wait, what the F? Like, we don't want to go. Like, we want to go to America. This is a detour. We can't go there. And there is no message in the message. It doesn't say that it's the Prometheus or it isn't. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say if they're alive or dead. It's just giving coordinates, and you're just going to go follow this. And the guy's like, yes. And I love how the captain didn't give a fuck about what anyone said.
At all, ever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the captain, man. Yep. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, and I thought they were being a-holes because to bring back the Titanic thing, the Carpathia, they didn't sit around and vote by committee. It was like they got the distress signal from Titanic and they made a beeline for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Suck it up, people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of your sister ships.
And that the guy said like there was like 1,300 or 1,400 souls on that ship. We need to go figure out if they're like, well, do you think they're gonna be alive in like 4 months? And he's just like, I don't care. We're gonna go check. You know that, and that shows like kind of like his humanity and like how he was very much a human being, whereas everybody else was like selfish.
Yep.
And then
Or afraid.
Or afraid.
Yep.
Yeah, or afraid.
They're
A lot of them were afraid because. Well, selfish and afraid because a lot of them just didn't want to not go to America. They were like, we need to get away. Like, I don't.
I thought they were trying to get away. No, I thought they were talking about, weren't they leaving from Europe?
Yes.
They were trying not to go back to Europe because they were trying to turn the ship around and go back there. I think everybody was trying to get to America.
Yeah, everybody was trying to get to America and they didn't want any delays. They were like, why should we go and fucking delay ourselves for this ship that everyone's probably dead on? Because it's been 4 months.
That pissed me off. That one pissed me off because like I can understand when they're like, we're turning back around, where people like all these people are trying to run to America. Like I could understand that, but like, hey, we're just going to go check real quick to see if there's 1,400 people like stranded and maybe some of them are still alive. And they're all like, F them. You know, what?
Yeah. Like, no, we got to go check, but
you're also, I don't know. I'm trying not to be judgmental because I feel like
why? Be judgmental.
Like on the ship under these circumstances where this thing, I mean, look at the situation. This ship wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't supposed to even exist, right?
Which
Did they
one?
think it sank already? The other one, the Prometheus.
They didn't know.
Oh, they didn't know. They just
they
just receive a coordinate. They're like, come to this coordinate. Like that's just saying, come
and,
here.
And remember in the
don't know.
beginning, they introduce us to one of the guys in the bottom who's very like he's talking about who's a wolf or like all this weird stuff. Like you can imagine, huh?
That was the gay dude.
Oh, the gay. Well, one of the guys in the was that him?
Yeah, he was the guy that was in this scene. He was talking about being the wolf.
No, there's another scene where I don't know, they just seem very superstitious. And so I think that
the religious people were superstitious, like the
one of the guys
family.
in the bottom, one of the crew was too.
Well,
he was very superstitious.
Well, the one you had a couple of them.
Oh yeah, the coal people.
The guy was wearing garlic.
Yeah, the garlic guy.
Like they could, in their mind, in that time period, they could have thought it could be a ghost ship. It could be, anything. And so I could see there being like genuine fear at this point. Like you're getting this communication from this unknown thing, and let's get out of here. Let's run away from this thing because we don't know what it is. I doubt they thought that there were even people on it.
No, they all thought that the people were dead.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, these people are dead. Like, why should we even go? And blah, blah, blah. But I still think like it's your job as a captain, to go and see it if you can rescue it. At the beginning, I was like, no, you have to go check this out because people could be alive.
But then when you see the ship, I would turn around.
Then get the fuck out of there because you're like, nope. Like
they're all dead. Question about that though, like
it's a dead ship. Nope.
From what the first mate becomes, and we figure out with, what he was against going to like the coordinates. Like, is he just playing along?
I think he was playing along.
Okay, was he playing along, or is like let's change something? Like because we keep doing this. I don't know.
No, I think he was playing along, and I'll tell you at the end why I think he was playing along.
Okay,
so because of my theory. But you get to meet a little bit more about the French couple and find out a little bit more about them and how the French couple is like not having any like passionate sex at all because they really didn't seem like they were in love. But apparently that guy was in love with her. He just like couldn't get it up because he was taking like medication.
I was like, dude, she's hot. Like, come on. She could be a fish, whatever.
It was kind of funny though because he was like so fascinated with like the Asian girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, this French girl's not that bad looking
She's
guy.
Smoking
like,
on.
Come on now.
But I think
I'd be like, show me some ankle.
But he knew that she despised him. At least that's the impression I got. I got the sense that she really could not stand him.
Well, when he gets off her and leaves, he gets she gets that. I thought she was gonna be evil.
Yeah.
When he gets off the bed and she's like, "What? I didn't know." Blah, blah, blah. And then he leaves and she's just like, she gives like an evil smirk, like, "Yeah, you're right. I hate that guy."
She's so manipulative. So, and he knows that. So it's like, how can he enjoy it when he knows she's crazy?
Oh, I just thought
Oh,
she was
I
being
would.
French. Like, I didn't think she was manipulative at all. I was just
Well,
like,
she was in
oh,
love with someone else. I mean,
she fell in love with someone else later on. She
Right.
wasn't in love with him at the time,
Oh.
but this dude was just like, he wasn't giving her a good time
no,
because
I thought he had said
happy dick.
something to that effect to her at the time. But
I mean, you're
maybe-
French, dude. Go
I think
down
it
on
was that
these.
it was like a marriage of convenience or maybe an arranged
Yes.
marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage of convenience.
And
That's
he
what
was
it
like,
was.
"You don't love me" or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
I
was
see. And I'd interpreted that.
Yeah. But speaking of the guy that she falls in love with, we meet him in the next scene. And he's hanging out with Oleg. And again, these scenes were really interesting when you watch these things in the original intended language,
right?
because again, these guys don't understand a word they're saying to each other. So they become friends through just realizing this human connection.
Oh my God, man. Like, it gives so much more to this scene right here.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, both of them were, not, I always want to call him Olaf, but the
Oleg.
white guy, yeah. Like, I could see why the black guy was so terrified of him. Like, he didn't know what to expect. You know, oh my God, am I going to get caught right now? You know, and then he realizes he's talking about the suit. Like, that's pretty cool.
And the fact that like he gave him his food and everything
Yeah.
like that, like it was so sweet. Like I was like, oh, like another bros.
Yeah.
But it was really funny when the black guy and Oleg get recruited to go on the ghost ship. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong
right?
time.
Yeah.
It's like,
Should've
you
stayed in
and
the
you,
coal
you're
pit.
coming with
You
us.
get to go on the cursed ship. You will die. And then they're like, let's bring a priest too. And he's like, no.
Yeah, that priest was like, I'm not even a priest.
Yeah, like, why am I wearing this shit?
It's like, damn it, why didn't I disguise myself as something else?
Yeah, he was
Wait a
like,
minute, this isn't a Jewish thing? I thought I was wearing a yarmulke. I'm a priest. Like,
yeah, I
got
love how that guy was like, they want you to go along with them. You're a priest, remember? Like, because again, this is a
Right.
language thing that you
Right.
notice here, because he speaks English.
Yeah.
So but he doesn't. So
Right.
the captain's telling him like what to do, what to understand. And this guy has no idea what's going on. And the fact that he's being recruited, and this guy's just like, they want you to go with them. He's like,
Yeah.
why? I don't even speak the language. And he's like, because you're a priest, remember? Just go. And he's
I
like,
just
"Okay."
remember being like, wow, they're being really loud about this. But now, you know, it's a
It
little
makes
different.
sense now.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
makes sense now.
See,
Like,
Nia and I
everybody's
saw a
saying their
completely
shit.
different show.
Yep.
We saw
Yep.
a completely different show
Yep.
than you did.
Yep.
And see, and that's kind of funny. And I'm kind of like glad that we're reviewing it like this, because
Yep.
it kind of shows how much of a difference the
Yeah.
shows are in that sense.
Literally,
Yes,
that was
and
one
the
of the
black
moments.
guy. That was definitely funny. Like I was like, the poor black guy's there to
Yeah.
be killed off or something like that, but that didn't happen. Actually, it was very good.
Yeah,
But
they
that was
didn't
one
kill
of the
off
moments
first.
where I was like, this is stupid. They're talking about it right in front. Now it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Because I
so-
thought they were just speaking in whatever the guys from Dark Writers language.
German.
German, right. I
And
thought it
that's
was all
what
in
happened with
German.
me, Scott. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way all these people are speaking German. Why would a Japanese girl be speaking German? Like, there's
Right.
no way. You know,
Right.
that's why I was like, I think this needs to be watched in the other way. Hold on. There was a scene. So they get there to the coordinates because they're
I feel like I
"Let's
didn't
go."
even see the movie now.
No, you're gonna enjoy it when you watch it, Jane.
Yeah, now you get to rewatch it all over again.
I'm like going through in my mind right now. So many things have changed.
So they get there, and there's a ghost ship. It's like a ghost ship.
Yep.
And all the lights are off, and it's freaky, and you're like, oh my God. And
Turn
they recruit-
around.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, thank you.
Well, and a couple of them were like, we ain't going on that motherfucking ship.
Yep.
Like this guy right here, he was like, I'm out, bitch. Like,
Yep.
I'm not going on that ship. And that's why the captain was like, you and you, black guy and, you
Yeah.
know,
Coal
other
boy.
dude. Yeah, coal boy.
The
You
black
better
guy and the
earn
guy
it
in
with
black
us.
face.
Get in the boat.
Poor Polish people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always getting screwed over.
Meanwhile, okay, see, and this is the part where I was like, really? Like, is all this necessary? Meanwhile, these guys are going to the boat, and then this the gay dude meets another the brother that came to ask for help through the closed gate. And he's all like, "Oh, you're so pretty. Like, where'd you get that scar?" And like all this stuff. And I'm just like, ugh, like, why is he being so creepy? Like, ugh. It just seemed like a rich dude like wanting his way with whatever, even though he clearly had a boyfriend.
Now, did they speak the same language? Were they able to communicate? No. Oh my God, that gives that scene through the fence a completely different.
What language did they speak?
They were Dutch, and the other guy was Spanish. What?
I could be like, "Hey, can I have a cigarette? What are you doing with your hand, sir?" You know, like, what the?
It's all body language.
He was attracted to him, though.
He was attracted to him, yes, and he was clearly gay, and that was part of his storyline. The brother was gay, and the mother was super religious, and they were in denial about him being gay. So, and that's why he wanted to do everything to please her, including kill a kid. Like, so then they go on the ship. And at this point, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good!" Because I like ghost ship stories. Okay, like that's fun. Like I was like, "Ooh, so crazy! Like how did it get like this?" And all this stuff. And the captain finds like a ribbon that he thinks is his daughter's ribbon on the Prometheus, and he's all freaking out, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And the other girl finds like a scarab that she follows into this like cupboard thing.
Yeah, is that the dining room? Or
it was a dining room where she sees this little boy.
When I first saw him, I was like, "That kid's Satan."
That's what I said too. I was like, "Damien, kill it, burn it."
I was like,
"Human."
He's wearing, and I'm gonna have to pronounce this correctly. He's wearing knickers, like those short, like little, pants, like back in the Revolution, and he's wearing velvet, or crushed velvet or something like that. He's definitely a demon.
And they picked a kid
Damien.
who looked exactly.
Yes,
they picked the most evil looking kid.
Oh my God!
I'm like, "Oh my God, it's Damien! Kill it! Burn it! Burn this ship
If he doesn't speak within an hour, kill him."
There's no way this kid would be alive for 4 months locked inside this.
They did try throwing him overboard, and he didn't die. So.
No, he didn't die.
If he doesn't float, he's a witch.
Oh,
or
dude.
if he does float,
if he does.
But that scene was crazy. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I mean, things were definitely not as they seem. When that kid manifests, I was like, "Whoa!" Well, he did. He kind of manifested.
He was so scary
because he was locked in. There was a thingy blocking the door.
There's a reason you lock Damien into a cupboard. Like, don't open it.
Don't open it. From there, things get even crazier and crazier. The kid has a little pyramid. He's just like, he gives it to her. He doesn't say a word. And of course, we meet another mysterious figure who climbs out of the water, climbs onto the boat. And you're like, "Wait a minute, what the F? Like, where is this guy coming from?" And we meet this other mysterious figure that walks to the room next to the girl's room. And we're like, "Wait, who the is this guy?" He also has a scarab.
The White Rabbit soundtrack.
Right.
Yeah. And he also has a scarab, kind of like the one that she followed to the cupboard.
Yep.
And he finally like kind of looks over and you see his face. And I'm like, "Wait, who the fuck is this guy? We don't know him yet."
Yeah.
And immediately though, I theorized that this guy was going to be the kid in the future.
Like, oh my God, me too. I was just about to say that. Yeah. I was just about to say that.
I thought they were going the dark route. Like, I was like, "Oh no, this is time travel stuff again." Let's like, I mean, I'm there for it because I love dark. But
well, because they had a physical resemblance.
Yep.
They did. They very much had it.
He kind of reminded me too of Elijah Wood. Like I immediately
thought, see the resemblance.
No.
He was Richard III in The White Queen. That's what I kept seeing him in.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it drove me crazy. I had to Google it. And I'm like, what
and of course, we're given a what is this thing called? It's not a pyramid, but I mean like the MacGuffin. Like it's kind of like a MacGuffin thing. You're like, okay, what is this? There's a MacGuffin.
But we actually get like we
But we get
actually
an answer.
an answer to it, and it's
Yes.
pretty cool
Wild.
where it goes. Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Oh,
I
wow.
liked it. I like it. So that was it. That was the first episode. It was fantastic. It was mysterious. It definitely kept me wanting to know more.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we go to the next episode entitled "The Boy,"
Yep.
and I was like, "He's a demon!
He's
Kill
definitely a
him!"
demon.
Boy.
And
I
this time,
I would have been following the old lady like she talks to God. We know he's a devil. I would have been with her.
we go the second episode opens with the guy, the captain's dream slash memory sequence where he meets his wife Nina and daughters. Wait, actually his wife wasn't Nina, his daughter was Nina.
Interesting
Oh.
point here. We
Mhm.
also have 2 men married to crazy women.
That's right. We do. That's true.
We got
That does happen.
crazy.
Wait,
That
who was the
was-
second dude?
The guy
priest-
downstairs.
The downstairs.
Oh, that's right. Okay, no, because I was thinking about the crazy dude being the crazy woman being the chick downstairs. But I guess you're right because they claimed that the wife set the house on fire.
Yeah.
Though I kind of I didn't buy that story. I was like, there's got to be more to this. Like, I don't. Usually, people don't set themselves on fire. Like, that's really weird.
No.
If they're
But-
batshit crazy, they do.
I mean, that's true.
They
Cleanse
do.
it
They'll
with
kill
fire.
themselves and the children to get back at the other
The
spouse.
husband,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, that's dude. There is
Drive in a
crazy
lake.
people out there. But we do we find out that because the daughter is singing the song. The daughter was Nina, and she was like singing the song to him and all the stuff like that. He follows her there. He sees the house burning and all that stuff, and then he wakes up on the ship. And
And
we're
it-
like, wait a minute, what was that? Was that a
And then
reality?
always
Or a dream?
whose voice
Always
is that?
wake up.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody.
Oh, it is. I always thought it was a woman's voice. Okay.
They
No.
wake up too as if they're being shocked back into reality. or
Yes, because
something.
they're
Like
all
you're
wide
dead.
open eyes.
Yeah.
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 That was definitely a clue. And I love how he was the first thing he did was take a swig of his drink, and I was
Yep.
like, oh, okay, drunk captain. I like
Yep.
the classic drunk captain trope.
Yeah.
Then basically it's morning now, and the ship is still there, and now they're really looking at it. And it just looked really fucked up and crazy looking and whatever. Meanwhile, everybody's kind of what the hell's going on up there? Why aren't we moving? Why aren't we leaving yet? Why are we still here? The people down the coal people are talking. Everybody's just talking. Everyone's waiting to see what happens. And as the episode goes on, the boy is not talking yet. That was kind of mysterious. I was like, why is this boy not fucking saying anything? Give us a clue, damn it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're understanding more and more of the people's story that the French guy has problems getting it up and all that stuff.
Mhm.
He wants to hook up with the Asian girl. The captain kind of slowly is going down this rabbit hole, and he's tripping out because he keeps hearing his daughter's voice, and so he follows her to this place, and where he sees the house again and his family. And at this point, I was just like, okay, something is really weird going on, and I don't think it's ghosts.
Right.
I was starting to really think it's something else. I don't know what, but at first I was like, is this are they robots? I didn't know what it was, but I started to be
I thought it was a weird death loop. I didn't know what was going on either.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were all dead.
Yeah.
yeah, but when I saw the basically the secret entrance to the place, I was like, this doesn't seem like a ship, like a real thing. I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. Could be an illusion, or I don't know what. I was just really hoping that it wasn't going to be that girl's long drawn out psychedelic trip in a mental hospital or something like that, because I was like, that's the scene they opened with, and they kept kind of playing that song, and the theme is to be drugged up and stuff like that. So I was like, please don't let this all be some sort of hallucination and of a drug addict weirdo or something. I don't know. Which I'm kind of thankful that it wasn't. But the kid was creepy. He was
Yeah,
being creepy.
Again, demon. sleeping. She walks out, his eyes open up. I'm a demon. Kid's a demon.
Let's get some holy water.
Yep.
And then we meet this mysterious stranger, where she does anyway. He kind of like, he's like all cryptic and
Very handsome.
handsome.
Mhm.
I mean, he's not really my type, Jane,
Yeah,
but
he's not Captain Handsome. God.
Well, no, nobody's Captain Handsome.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
I
He needs
forget
to
what he
level
was
up to
doing
get to
in
that.
this part, but he was I did think it was a little bit strange. I mean, I know that the captain has a lot on his mind at this point, but that dude like was pretty new. It's like you didn't notice that this guy's like really new, like onto the ship.
Right.
Like who is this guy? I mean, technically there's thousands of people on there though. So I guess like it's easily to miss somebody. Then the black guy attacks or gets attacked because he gets found out finally, and like it's like you weren't on the ship. And it was funny to see him fight a bunch of people off, and I was like, are they gonna go woke with this again? And this black guy is just gonna take everybody out? Because it was like 5 people going after him, and then, but no, he got captured. He got captured, and then the brother and sister have a conversation. I don't remember what it was about. Probably about being gay.
No.
No, it wasn't about being gay. I'm just saying.
It could have been.
Because that guy was gay. Then we get the long drawn out gay scene.
Yeah, I skipped it.
That was
I just was like, okay, enough of this shit. Like, I'm sorry, I skipped that one. It's like, if you're not going to give me lady ass, I'm not watching this long out gay scene. I'm sorry. We ain't going broke back on this. Come on, people. Like, there are some moments where it's like, why'd you give it extra? Why'd you give it extra? So this is where I started questioning wokeness.
Mm-hmm.
I really was.
Yeah. I was like, why? I'm like, why? It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when I'm used to seeing so many gay sex scenes, it's just kind of meh at this point.
You're like numb to it.
Well, and not just that, but I would also say any kind of graphic sex scene, heterosexual, whatever. I just start to almost laugh. It's like, here we go. Let's just show some ass and have people humping each other. Wow, it's exciting.
You know, we could go back to the style where they like let you, like they get to a point and then they skip to the next scene where they're smoking a cigarette. Like, we don't need it really as much anymore. Like,
yeah, but honestly though, I'm telling you, you could have taken out that entire sex scene and nothing would have changed about this episode. It was just unnecessary.
Gay, and so there.
That's it.
That's true with a lot of sex scenes.
Well, I was about to say, for crying out loud.
You don't need them in movies.
Outlander's getting
the French sex scene did add something to the story, because you're like, okay, these people are clearly not in love. Like, I mean, they don't love each other. Something going on. Why is the sex scene, or like, why is the sex scene so not passionate? Why is the guy so not into it? So it did add something. Whereas in the gay sex scene was just like, okay, these guys are just really, really gay. Well, and it wasn't even like really gay. It was really like showing the possessive love that they had for each other. Because before that, the way the sex came about was that the Spanish guy, or well, there was Spanish, but the guy with the mustache, the Portuguese guy, because he confronted that guy for going after for liking, because he had drawn in his book the portrait of the guy down of Crester, and he was just kind of like confronting him about it. He's like, oh, do you think this guy's attractive too? This is why we had to leave. And you're starting to get these clues about what happened and why they had to leave, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, are you jealous? And that guy just like starts just like,
I think that was the contrast though, because you had 2 relationships. One where there's absolutely no love, no attraction, no anything. And then you had this other extreme where it was probably more infatuation than actual love. And they bookended each other,
kind of. But why was one scene way longer than the other? I think that's just like Netflix stuff, because I don't know. I feel like that was definitely a case. But I don't know. But those are the things that just kind of took me out of it. I was like, oh, I don't really want to see this, but whatever. Then you catch up with the captain and the girl who are having a conversation, and the captain's like, I received this letter. It's in the same envelope It's the same one that she has, same message, blah blah blah, and that's why I'm here, blah blah blah. Told me to come on the ship. She doesn't admit that she has one though, which I was like, well, why didn't she tell him that she has one? That was weird.
Shady.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This ship's name was Kerberos. The other one was Prometheus. I forgot what this one was called. But then the captain has this fucking crazy ass idea of like, let's tow this ship back to like Europe, like not even like go ahead, because he was, and his logic made sense because he's like, we have a shorter distance to go back than thing, and we don't have enough coal and food and resources to like get to America, and we need to take the ship back. Now at this point, everyone's freaking out. They're like, why are we doing this? Like, let's just leave it here and go to America. But the captain has already made up his mind and he's going.
To me, it made no sense because it's an empty ship. You know that now. Mm-hmm. Get what resources you can that you can use and leave it there.
Yeah.
And mark it on a map, and people can professionals who tow ships can come back later and get it.
Well,
precisely.
I agree. But I thought it was kind of a stupid reason too. It's like, just because they sent something that says sink ship, you think now I have to tow it back because it's going to prove that they're hiding something. Like,
I mean, technically, I can understand why, because he was like, he's received these letters, all this stuff happens, and then all of a sudden, this company is like, sink ship. By the way, that's what happened, is that the company started getting this message to sink the ship, and this girl is obsessed with this little thing around her neck. So we keep seeing this image as well, which happens to have a pyramid on it, but whatever.
The French girl has pyramid earrings.
Oh yeah, she does.
There's so many pyramids. I was watching all.
And then we see the guy. He holds a picture of the wife. Well, we don't know he's the wife yet, but he's got a picture of that redheaded woman, the mysterious guy. And then
so right there, I'm sorry, right there. I thought, okay, he's not the kid. He's her brother, and she just doesn't remember him for some reason.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. I was like, maybe that's not the kid. Maybe it's the brother, and she doesn't remember, because he kept going like, "Remember? You don't remember me?" And all this stuff. And then he kills this girl, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Because at that point,
I still don't understand that. I still don't understand it. Why?
I think I understand it a little bit.
Do you think it's because he wanted to start?
Yes.
The decline again or something?
Well, he wanted to, like, the program
right
goes through certain things, right? And one of them is he wanted a mutiny. For some reason, he wanted that mutiny for them to stop going back or whatever. And that's the only reason that I can think of.
Okay.
I don't know why, but he wanted that mutiny to start. But at the end of episode 2, something else happens that's really, really important. Because at this point, we're just kind of like, what the is going on? Like, everything just doesn't make any sense. And like, but you know what? They put a scene in the end where it kind of gives you a reason to keep watching. And that's this scene right here.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa, wait, what? What? Like, this is not 1809 or 1899. This TV.
1972.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
It's the 70s or something. Like, and all the main players are on some of the TVs.
Yeah.
And,
I had flashbacks to WandaVision.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, kind of like that. I had flashbacks to like The Matrix, because The Matrix had that whole the creator had the TV thing. Wait, I just skipped the thingy. Then the next episode is there, and then it's called The Fog. And in this episode, a fog happens, literally. Technically at this point, we're like in a fog. Like, we don't understand what the fuck is going on. Like, everyone's just like, whatever. There was that scene with a girl, with the Asian girl being patted down. I was like, come on, show some boob. Let's go. Like, there's definitely a scene here where you're like, you could have made her more vulnerable.
Yep.
Literally, what we're talking about right now, Russell Hall, 0. I was very disappointed about that.
0, dude. 0.
Zero
I'm
boobs.
that's the one. That's why I can't give it anything higher than an 8.5.
It's just that was probably the most disappointing part.
Yeah.
Zero boobs.
I'm
But
fine
also
with that.
0D. So
Close enough.
what was that, Jane?
I'm fine with that. I don't want to see any boobs.
Russell Hall says, "Fork that amount." Well, there you go. But yeah, so this is that scene. I think they could have made her more vulnerable if she had stripped down, but whatever.
Right. It's like being humiliated, and now finding out is maybe the next why, like this is so wrong because of what happened in her story. Like, yeah. She's like,
and meanwhile, the captain's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the other ship and see what's going on because we can't really go anywhere in this fog. So I might as well go and look for the captain's notebook on the other ship." And this chick was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come with you." In which case, I was like, "Wait, what? Like that?
Why would you do
really make
that?
any
The
sense."
decisions they're making are nonsensical. I will say that.
Yeah, this part, I was like, "Well, why? What?
Yeah.
Huh?"
This
Like,
is
what?
where I started to get lost. I'm just like, come on, what the?
well,
Yeah,
I kind of
why would
like,
you do that?
okay, this captain would have had a logbook. He might have wrote something that weird started happening, a disease, a mutiny, something.
I agree with that. Yeah,
That's the one thing I understood. It's like, and then it's like, in a weird relationship they have going. Like I thought it was going to become more romantic, so that's why I don't know.
I
If it-
still have a theory about that, Scott. I'm
Yeah, I do
holding it to
too.
the end. Sorry.
I
If
do
you're
too.
gonna get the book, then you don't need the ship. Like
Right.
that's my thing. If they could have done that, they could have went along the lines of he's gonna get the captain's log,
Yep.
Mhm.
and there you have, whatever you need in terms of information for whoever on the other end, and then go on about your business. Like
Yep.
Yeah,
you don't go and just do what they did in this situation. It's ridiculous.
but they didn't find the log, but they found something
Yeah.
else. Now,
Mhm.
my main problem with this scene and this whole scenario was what the hell? Like the shot in this scene is awful because you have a ship where the ship is there and it's being towed by another ship, right? So you got two ships like this. How the fuck did these people not go from like one point
Yeah.
to the other? Did they go around so that this is in the shot? Because technically this would not be in the shot if they're just going
Are
straight
they
back.
towing them as of now? Because I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out what was going on too. Because it
Yeah, no,
also
they were
seemed like
towing
from
them.
this picture they're very close, and it took them forever to get there.
I
Yeah,
think
they were towing them.
They were rowing backwards, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Yeah.
what she's saying is if you're towing a ship, it's behind you. Why are you
Yes.
going that way?
Why are you
it should
going
be like
around?
them going sideways,
Yeah,
like parallel to the other ship.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
But they're like going around so that they can have this ship in the background for the shot. But it doesn't make any sense because you're like, dude, like no, because you'd be going this way. Like you would just be going that way. You just row to the other ship alongside your ship because it's a fog. You can't see anything, but you know that they're directly behind you. So you're gonna just take a straight line from where your ship is to the ship back.
Mhm.
But they're like, let's just go all the way around. This part of the cinematography, I like really stuck out for me. I was like, why? What? Like, no. This
And
whole
are
scene
they
doesn't
even
make
in
any
the
sense.
hooks? They're not even in the hooks. Like those are rowing hooks. You're supposed to be in those to row. Like that's why I started
what do you
thinking
mean they're
like, what
supposed
is
to be in them?
like they help you row and
Yeah,
keep it
these
on
things.
the boat so you're not like whoa shit. Like they
Oh, I
keep
didn't
it
even notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they keep it anchored. And I was
Yeah.
like, these are the things I look. This is the point where I wasn't even like really paying attention to what they're talking about. I'm like, oh, those masts make triangles. Why aren't they using the hooks? Like, what is this? Is not real. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I
what's
was-
going on?
Yeah, I was totally thinking that too. I'm like, why
Yeah.
are they using these things? Like that's
Yeah.
supposed to help you paddle. Like,
Literally, you'd just be like going with the current, and the oar would be dragging,
yeah.
unless you're standing up and
or
going,
you
like,
drop
you
it.
know, yeah.
It could be that they're on like the front one. I mean, it could be two sets.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
true.
No.
Okay, maybe.
That's
it's just
true.
you're sitting
Maybe
so
it's
far
two
back
sets.
next to him. I don't know.
But it was. I just thought it was funny. Like
Yeah.
especially the shot. Like I was like, the shot was funny to me because the ship wouldn't be sideways behind them if they're going straight.
Right. And I'm being nitpicky because I really I dig this show, but like,
well, I love the show too, but there's some things you have to like.
out,
come on, you got to point out some of the stupidness.
But did they do that for a reason? Like, if it wasn't lashed up front, like, did they do that to give us little signs like this isn't that real? Like it's in their heads.
I don't know why they did it like this because again, here's another far out shot.
Yeah.
Like you're going out this way. This is wait, or that way. Sorry, the direction is back.
Yeah,
like going down.
Back and to the left.
It's like no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like. There's one guy I can't say his name. The Elias Gaming. It was an amazing. It's a great show. 8.5.
I loved it.
It's a great show.
Then you kind of find out the Chinese girl story and how she was. It's just like Chinese, she's not Japanese, and what happened with her and the box that she gets locked in and everything like that, and how she killed that woman.
Meant to just knock her out.
We find that out a little bit more later on because this was like the first thing. Oh, but you don't. That's fine because that was the story. Like know, the story was that she had a friend who was going to leave China, and she was like, I'm going to a new world, but she didn't really specify like what she was doing.
Right.
And she's like, look, they're giving me all these beautiful robes and blah blah blah, and I'm going. And she's just like, oh, okay, here's some tea. And the tea turned out to be poisonous.
I disagree with that. She knows what that girl does.
I didn't think she did. I didn't think she knew she was a hooker.
She would watch her mom do it all the time too. The older lady is her actual mom.
Yeah.
And she was a whore. And she would watch her mom. So she thought she could do it. But like when finally now on the ship, her mom was trying to tell her, like, you don't understand.
Think she knew.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I really do think she knew. She just didn't understand it. Like what it really meant.
Did you guys think she knew? Jane? Teresa?
I didn't think that she knew. If she did, they didn't make it very clear, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
At least she didn't know the full extent of it, perhaps.
That's what I mean. Like she understood like she's gonna get to America, but I think the plan was like pretend she's one, get to America and freaking skedaddle. But because the boat got stuck and the woman's like, I'm gonna make some cash, she's actually gonna have to go through with it now. That's what I thought. Like she knew that the girl was going to be a whore, but she was just gonna pretend to be that girl and then escape once they get to America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we all kind of thought something different, but yeah, that makes sense. Then like the crew is starting to really freak out now. They don't know what's going on, and then they find out that the little girl is dead. And that guy carries her, helps the sister carry her because that guy's at this point he's freaking out. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I think the captain's losing his mind. Yeah. And he's not making any correct decisions. I think we need to fucking take over or some shit. I don't know.
And that's another thing. He's been with the captain for 12 years, and I understand he's like, you don't come back from what the captain happened, but really quick to jumping to mutiny. You know what I mean? Like,
it was just a little bit quick. Like I was like, dude, what? No.
I got the sense that maybe he had some issues before, like the alcoholism. Maybe he felt like he had finally gone too far.
Yeah.
They had tolerated too much.
Okay.
That's kind of the sense I got.
That's possible. Go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, I was just going to say that what Jane said, it just struck me because, this whole idea, first of all, I don't give a frack who it is. If any of us saw our airline pilot drawing from a flask before we took off, I think we'd all freak out. And it's not much different with a freaking boat.
It would be concerning. Like definitely like
See, I would have been like, that dude is even cooler now.
Well, I mean, I do like Captain Hot Dog, so I don't know.
I'd be walking by him with my collar up, like, "What's up, man? I'm pretty cool too." No, I'm not. Okay, I'll walk away. Sorry. The things I think about.
But see, the next scene again was another scene where I was like, "Is this really necessary?" And it was this scene where these two are meeting up again, and this dude right here, he's like, "I'm looking for my sister."
Yeah.
Let me jack you off. Like
that's what blows my mind now that you're saying they didn't even speak the same language.
No.
Like that's bold being like, I'm gonna grab your penis now. Like
that's the equivalent of a gas station.
Yeah. It's a rest
stop. It's really a glory hole situation.
Dude's tapping his foot on the top step. Oh, you want me to jerk you off? Okay. Oh my god.
Oh my
And
god!
that was
And
an
like,
aggressive one
and
too.
the banging like
Yeah.
against the thing, like I was
Oh.
like, what?
I was like, oh my god, some things are getting stuck in the. That might have hurt a little
gross.
This was fucked. Like I was
Yeah.
like, this part I didn't dig. I was
No.
like, what? Like I'm not digging this. That like I just wasn't digging the gay storyline.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is not as no.
Yeah. Like he's so weird.
You know what I didn't understand?
What?
All these people were sleeping with each other on this ship, and all of them looked filthy. Like they reminded me of the hobbits all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Everybody was
Harfoot.
dirty.
Oh yeah, you unzip his pants and it stunk.
Look at this. Like he's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
giving her.
Well, everyone stunk back then. They didn't have baths or
That's
showers
true.
That's
too
true.
often, unless you were
Well,
really
not the
rich.
first. Well, not the first class people did.
Yeah,
But they
but-
didn't. So yeah, that guy gets jacked off. Meanwhile, his sister's dead, and everybody else is freaking out. And meanwhile, these two are like the captain and the girl are searching the other ship, and they find this that the other ship, the ghost ship, also has a floor entrance that leads to this kind of like weird little room inside it, and they're like, oh my god. And that again, this was one of the first. This was another like kind of like woke scene. Like I was like, oh, this is woke.
Yeah.
But it was like when the guy opened the door, and it's like, oh, there's like this mysterious fucking place, right? Like they're like, oh, here's this door. I don't know what's in there. It's dark. Like it's like, oh, we find this door. We're gonna take the lid off. It's dark, and she goes, take my lantern, and she starts like heading down there, and I'm like, dude, like no, the captain would be like, let me go first.
Yep.
We don't know what's going on, but that was like a little
Yeah.
it was no.
It had its moments. It did have its moments.
It did have its moments. But yeah, they go down there. She's like, that's not
Yeah, I didn't understand why she would go first. That was weird.
Yeah.
It was stupid. There was definitely like just like little woke elements here and there, and I was like, what? This is dumb. The guy would go. Meanwhile, the kid,
Either that or she has some control over the other passengers.
or
She doesn't
that,
realize.
and that's interesting too, Jane. What you just said.
Wait, say
Playing
that
out a
again?
narrative
Hmm.
that she would have some control of the other characters because that's
Well,
what they are. And it's
This is them coming back to the ship, right? So he already has some weird feelings about her after what he found in the fire pit, right?
He hasn't found it yet.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't found it. That's
All right.
it. That's at the end of this episode.
Okay.
But yeah, so like meanwhile on the main ship, the Damien is like messing around with his pyramid thing, and you're like, what the fuck is this kid doing? And then he sees the little scarab, and he's like, oh my god, it's a little scarab. And then that guy shows up, and at this point, I was like, wait, what? Like this can't be like they can't be in the same place at the same time.
Right.
There's no way this is like him. Because, you know, Dark at least set out those rules. Like, you can't meet yourself and, like, you know, things like that. So I'm like, oh, so this is going to get more complicated than what I initially thought. Because I really thought they were the same person.
Yeah, same here.
And then they clearly weren't. But they were friends or friendly. And you're like, oh, I mean, that kid wasn't scared of him or anything. And then we get another sweet scene, which is the Chinese girl and Oleg meeting for the first time. Same area as where he met his other friend. And this time, you know, again, they don't speak the same language. It's very sweet. But somehow they relate to each other.
Yep.
And they're able to kind of connect through that. And then this is where you see the main scene about her, because the fog takes over and the fog shows her her memory or whatever. And then after that, we get to this other place on the ship where the captain and the other girl on the ghost ship find this crazy looking circuit board. And the guy tells her, hey, by the way, our ship has one of those too. It just doesn't work. And apparently they commissioned 3 sister ships, which, by the way, we haven't met the third ship. But they had 3 sister ships and they all had the same thing, including this, which didn't work on any of the ships, according to that guy. So we're like, wait a minute. Because when I saw this thing, I was like, is that a circuit board? Like, I was like, what the fuck? Because because it definitely doesn't look like anything from 1899.
No.
I was like,
No.
what? So that was definitely an interesting clue. What did you guys think of that scene?
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell it was at first. Like I was like, is that some type of telephone? Like I thought, like to get to the outside access where these people are like houses and dream, because it was really weird. Like is each room in those tunnels people's memories? Like I thought that was a way someone could jump through your own memories and stuff. So I didn't really know what it was, or I thought it was a time machine.
I was thinking that too, Scott. I was like, I don't know if that guy still is the other kid. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is.
Well, 'cause
maybe it's some sort of
Is that
time
this episode or the next
travel.
one where he does the thing and it's poof?
I think it's the next
Okay.
one or the end of this one. I'm not really sure. No, it's the end of this one.
Okay, so that's where I thought it was a time machine.
Okay.
Or
yeah.
Something like that.
So the next scene is because we didn't see that on our our ship, like the Kronos or whatever. What was it? The Kerberos. Because they were on the Prometheus and they saw it, but then we see it go like be alive on the Kerberos or whatever, like on our ship. So then the next scene is when they find the passenger list.
Yep.
And he hides it because he thinks that he's like, oh my God, so this girl's name is on it. And at first we don't know that. And I was like telling my husband, I was like, why wouldn't he tell her?
Right.
And he's like, obviously the girl's name's on it. Come on, Nina, keep up. And I was like,
right.
I was like, oh, really? Like, and then the name was on there, and I was like, you were right. Like, how did you know? And he's like,
but I thought the same thing as your husband. But then he later on is like, but then on the other side, and I'm like, wait a minute, if both your freaking names were on this and that's your signature, why didn't you say something to him?
why are you such a dick?
Yeah,
Then you like, wouldn't you be like, by the way, we're both on this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
that's what pissed me off, because I thought the same as your husband. I was like, oh, she's definitely on that, and he's freaked out. And then when he did that, I'm like, okay, now you're dumb. I was mad.
Yeah.
And then we get another conversation with the Asian and her, like the mom. The Asian girl and her mom are having another conversation about being hookers. And then
another lovely mother-daughter conversation.
Good
And you're a
combo.
hooker. You're a hooker through and through.
And then we see the limp dick I was gonna say Persian dude. But no, French dude. He I was like thinking that he's a drug addict the
I
whole
thought it was
time.
heroin or
I thought he
something
was
like
a
that.
drug
Morphine.
addict. I was like,
Yeah,
because he's always
yeah.
like going like this, and he's like
Yep.
shaky. He's got the shakes and
Yep.
stuff. And I was like, wait, like, is this dude like just a drug addict? But it wasn't that he was just a drug addict. Like he had an ailment that he was taking drugs for. So it was like, he wasn't just a full-on drug addict, but he was an asshole. And I ended up like actually really disliking him. I was like, fuck you.
Yep.
For what he did to his friend.
Oh yeah, so wrong. So wrong. I
although,
apologize. I gotta bounce.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I hear the
Okay.
kid crying upstairs, so help mom out.
Okay, why don't you really quick tell us your final thoughts on the series and then go.
I thought it was really cool. The last episode really changed what I thought of the whole series. But I was just talking to Berserker, I think, in the chat, and like he said something that made me also, because I also thought that where we end up at the very end when you guys get there, could that be the next simulation?
Maybe.
And it's really, because I still feel like it's like 1990s or something like that, or it's like 1999, the actual year.
Oh.
Because of the flashlight, and because I don't know, there's certain things that made me feel that. I know that dude had that cool ass, communicator thing, but is it a simulation within the real world?
I think the human race is gone. And this
Something
is
is up.
purely AI.
Me too, Jane. I'm that girl.
Jane takes over her people.
Jane,
I was totally thinking the same thing, girl.
And
Shit.
is brother like AI? That's what I thought.
See, I don't know. I was thinking that the husband is actually
A program?
like the husband is a program, like he's the AI. Well, no, not the brother. The husband is the AI.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was
brother is actually a human that's like on Earth or wherever the fuck he is. And he's controlling stuff We haven't even met brother yet.
Yeah, I thought they were both like one's okay. So
I think the real husband is the captain.
Oh.
I got something because that feeling between them two, even though she knows that's her husband now, is too okay. So yes, I thought the brother or the husband is like the Oracle in the Matrix, and like the brother is like the creator or the French guy. Like they're all different types of programs, and I thought like somewhere in reality, the captain and her.
Yeah, see, but that's the clues are who's there when she wakes up.
Right. And I was trying to follow it. I should have went back to look.
And her father, the son, Damien kid.
Yep.
And the husband were not there.
That's okay.
So,
you had the
but the captain was there, and the captain was right next to her.
Right. You had the captain right next to her. Then you had the French girl and the black guy right next to each other.
Yes.
And the Asian.
And the other guy.
Right. So, he wasn't he?
The French guy was there too.
Because I feel like when by the end of the episode, we found out who really loves each other in real life. Like, but they just can't find each other.
But we don't know that yet either.
Oh man, it's so good. I wish I had more time.
We'll talk more.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Hey, Scott, if we're still going and you're done, come back.
I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Goodbye. Except to Spork and News podcast. He's awesome. But okay, going right along, people start fucking dying, and everyone's like, "What?
Yeah.
Why is everybody just dropping dead now?" But it was freaky, and it's definitely a cause for concern that people are just dropping dead. And this guy.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is where it took on a nightmarish quality that to me you're just getting the feeling that it really truly is not real. And this is where they lost me a bit. Some of the but I thought, oh wait, they're trying for these lofty ideas. And so is there any reason for me to get invested in what's going on if it's a nightmare or if it's a simulation or whatever?
And that's the thing too with me is when it's as it started to go crazier and crazier, I was like, this is definitely some type of simulation. Like it has to be, because there's no rhyme or reason to some of the stuff, like the people dropping dead and all this stuff like that, or like
jumping overboard.
And like,
but I think that's the risk with these kinds of shows when you're doing the simulation stuff. Or Peripheral, I think, has a similar potential problem. It makes you wonder: are there really any stakes? Like, should I care about these people if none of it's real? But I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like there is a real world story that's happening.
I agree,
and that's what we have to get to.
I completely agree with you. The episode ends with that guy activating like Damien's dad activating this circuit board thing on our ship. And that's how the episode ends. We don't know what the hell he's doing though. Meanwhile, then we go to the next episode, which is episode 4. And this is that's the craziest part, right? Like we're only 4 episodes in and so much has happened. Then we get to find out the backstory of the black guy and the French guy, and how he basically betrayed him, and how he did basically, like, he's just such an asshole. Like what he did to that guy was oof. Like I was like, I hate you now.
What language is the black guy talking?
French.
Okay.
French. Yeah, they're all French. Like the chick, the black guy, and the other drug addict guy, they're all French. Then they go there, and of course the black guy, poor guy, he's just always at the wrong place at the wrong time with Oleg. And they're like, you get over here, you're gonna be chucking bodies in the ocean now. And it's like, what? This poor guy, like he can't catch a break.
It's what I've always wanted.
It's like, you get over here. Oh my god, I was just like fast forwarding into like some of the stuff and in the opening, and now I'm like, oh my god, the opening is giving clues. Like I didn't really realize that until now. Like look at this. Like how many different versions. There's so many different versions of her. Makes sense.
I would love to see some of the other rounds, I guess you could say, of them in the simulation. How did it go?
Ooh, I don't care. I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
This was the most important one. But so in this episode, the fight is basically about the what's it called? The coup on the ship.
Yeah.
And them taking over. That guy, the bald dude, I forget his name. This guy just basically takes over, and he's like, "We need to turn the ship around. We need to get our shit together." He locks up the cabinet. The cabinet. He locks up the captain and all these people, and people start taking sides. And I was on the side of whoever this lady wasn't us on the side of, because she was nuts. I was like, you are batshit crazy. Like, she's this crazy ass Karen. And she starts being like, you know what, everybody? All the problems started when that motherfucking kid, that Damien kid, came on board. We need to hunt this motherfucker down and burn him alive. And everyone's like, yeah, let's go. And that's basically
But that's what happened.
that's exactly
in the
what happened.
olden days. He's a
Yeah.
witch.
But not in 1899, for crying out loud.
I could see it happening. People
I could see it. She's a witch. Burn her.
Yeah, but look, he's a child, for crying out loud.
like Twitter on a ship.
Oh my
It
god.
was.
Okay, I stand
literally
corrected. People definitely would. I forgot about Twitter.
Yeah, it literally was. I mean, this bitch, she was nuts. And she was gonna kill everybody. Like, she was like, she about to kill everybody. And like, her son's like, Mom, the boy isn't here. We don't have to kill everybody. Like, it's okay. Because she wanted to shoot that other woman, like well, actually, like the kid's mom. But she doesn't know that yet. And she's like, the kid's like, please, Mom, like, don't kill me. Don't kill everybody. Meanwhile, that the husband's just a freaking simp cuck, like, just following around that old lady wherever she fucking goes. The kid goes and hides in the hole.
Though.
She's crazy. She's just mental. The kid goes and hides in the hole, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Smart kid. And then we kind of like get the idea, like, oh, this kid knows what the hell's going on. Then we get another conversation between my two favorite people in the coal place. And they're talking about the werewolves and everything. And that was a really interesting conversation, because it kind of like came back around in the most bizarre way at the end of the episode, where that guy's like trying to kill the other guy. It's like, he was right. There is werewolves out there. Meanwhile, the black guy, he tries to get away. Then he finally confronts. Wait, does he confront the French guy now? I forget. Oleg gets arrested because he helped the black guy get away. Oleg's such a nice guy. I think he was like one of my favorite characters. I was like so sad when he died. I'm like, you stupid Asian girl. Like, why did you have to go on the ship when you know you're gonna die? Meanwhile, everybody else is leaving. Like, they're like, we're just gonna go. Like, just let us take the kid, and we're just gonna go. And you won't see us anymore. And the mutineers are not having any of it. So they're like, no, fuck that. We're killing that kid.
Kill the Damien child. Weird.
And the black guy is like the hero, and he steps in front and takes a bullet, and everyone's like, well, he dead, bye. But he wasn't dead. He just took a bullet in the arm. And then he picks the hammer up later and then takes out the other guy, which was pretty interesting. And then we see the kid again, and this time the mutineers freaking take everyone to town, and the freaking Karen has her way, and she chucks that kid in the ocean. She's like, nah, this kid's gotta go.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck you. And everyone's like, wait, what? He dead now? So all of our problems are solved, right? Right?
Right.
Wrong.
Demon child. Yeah.
And
He
that's the
comes back.
disconnect. That's the disconnect that you see in these situations. It's like you're saying that he's a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think throwing him into the water is going to kill him?
Yeah, because he's got a float. He's floating.
And then he comes back in the same spot. He like literally appears and then just goes and what the his German spot on. Then he goes and hugs the mom and he's all like, I love you, mommy. And they're all like, what the like, where'd this kid come from? And everyone's just shocked.
He beamed back.
He literally did.
Yep.
The next episode was extremely disturbing. It's called The Calling. It was episode 5. That's when everybody kind of gets hypnotized and just starts jumping off the fucking boat. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? It's like there's a glitch in the Matrix and these people are being weird. And that's exactly what it was. Meanwhile, the girl finds a way to open the portal that is inside the hole in her room, like the little gateway. And it's to do with this little thing. See, I thought this thing was a drone because I was like, how can this thing open doors? Like I was like, I wasn't following along with this like scarab thing being used to open doors. I kind of wish they had gotten a little bit more into that, like showing that it was mechanical or something, but they didn't. They
No.
didn't show anything. I was like, but I thought it was like a mechanical drone or something. Then she goes into this other world because like the scarab opens a portal thing to this other world, which we kind of think is another world. And then we are we're shown this kind of like outside, but then something still feels really off. And I was like, at that point, I was like, we're definitely in the simulation because there's no way that this is real and it can't be on a ship. Like, there's no way that this is happening. There's something else is going on. They're probably in some type of simulation in our reality or in the future of our reality or something. Like, because there's no way this shit would be going down in 1899.
No, not at all.
And then I see this scene, and immediately I'm starting having theories like, okay, this is probably her kid, but her kid's probably dead. And somehow she trapped herself in the simulation to like be with him, and she's forgotten that now. I had like all this kind of like different theories about how that kid is, dead. I thought he was dead.
No.
Well, what about you guys?
You weren't wrong. Well, at this point, I didn't think that, but you weren't wrong, right? The way it ended up.
Well, I mean, technically, no, because we don't know where he is, because he's not like he could not be dead. He could still be alive and in their world wherever he is, because we don't know, and we don't even know if he exists at all.
Was it that he was dead, or that he was sick, or
he was dying for sure.
I don't think so. See,
Yes.
I think this was all made up.
There is no kid.
I don't think there's a kid. I don't think there's a kid. I don't think there's a husband. And I don't think there is a father. I think they're all programs of the simulation. I think the kid is the simulation. And I think the husband is kind of like the different programs of the simulation. So the kid is like basically like the father, like this guy, this guy and him are like the part of the AI that's becoming conscious and understanding that there's a creator, and the creator is her. So and then he's to them, like, she would be giving birth and he's in love with her. So he's like, he loves that part of her because she is his creator. And I think the father is the other side of the creator, meaning like the fact that he doesn't want to die. Like, he's like, I want to keep the simulation going and so on and so forth, because he doesn't want the simulation to stop. I don't think there ever was a kid. I think there's another reason why they're in the simulation.
So wait.
Wow.
Okay, if we're to believe this, then these two people's families are both fake, potentially.
Yes.
He never had this wife and daughters.
I think that's all fake. I think that's all part of the simulation that the simulation made for it to go forward. And then it became conscious of what's happening. And then it realized, like, hey, wait a minute, it's becoming sentient. I think the AI is becoming sentient, and it's helping her get out because it realized that her brother's fucking things. So it was like, you know what? I'm going to help the creator get out. And it did. And that's how this, like, it made this like entire scenario for her to escape the simulation. I think that's the story.
I like that.
Yeah, and then that would be why they weren't on the ship when she woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a damn good theory.
That's my theory. I think that that's what it is, because I kept going back and watching that scene where like and the virus too, because the virus is the other part of it too, and that guy knew, like, all these people knew how to have control. The first mate as well. The first mate is also part of the program. Like, these are programs in the simulation. That's why they weren't there when she woke up. The only people that were there were the main players, which was the captain, the French couples, like the trio, the gay couple, that family, except for the little girl who was used to create the mutiny. Okay. So she wasn't there either. But the main woman was there. The father and mother were there. And the brother was there. The gay brother was there too. And that's it. And the English girl. The English girl was there. And the Chinese couple, the woman.
They're there,
Mm-hmm.
but are they there?
But we don't know why they would be there. Like, meaning, like, because when we see the last scene, and you know what? I'm just going to skip the last scene. Because the last scene's called The Key. The last episode's called The Key. And when you go to the last scene, the final scene, first of all, you see that note that says coffee. Kicks in, because that was like on all the books. I was like, I knew that would be significant in some way. He reprogrammed the whole thing. This guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be this way. Like, he reprogrammed it. So it was kind of like the Agent Smith situation where he's like, they rewrite the program. So she wakes up, and it was funny to me because somebody like commented about how she wakes up with short hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, it kind of makes sense that you would have short hair in a simulation. Like, who's like washing your hair, like in the future? And when you're going to simulation, I don't think you'd be waking up. Like, you'd be like, you know what, I'm just gonna have short hair so it doesn't get grimy.
Well, and it also showed us a contrast from what would be in 1899 to show us that clearly it's modern day.
I agree.
Right.
I think that would show the time difference, but it's just, it still seems fake.
So
It
husband,
doesn't feel real.
I mean, not husband, captain, which I think is the real husband. Then you have the Crester. Then you have the chick, like his sister, her parents, and the Chinese couple, the Chinese girl, the Spanish guy, the Portuguese guy, the other Spanish guy, the black guy's there too. That's it. All the other guys are not there. None of the programs were there. And then she kind of like looks out, and she's in another ship, and it is a ship, and it's called the Prometheus.
Yeah.
And it's a spaceship, and we don't know where it's going, but it's going somewhere. Maybe it's a colonizing ship. God knows.
Yeah, going to Mars.
But I don't know. I don't think that, though.
Be on a path somewhere.
I don't think it was a colonizing ship, though, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that this was an experiment that had to do with something to do with like maybe studying of the brain, and they did get volunteers to sign up for it. I think, like, because it said crew,
But could it be that these are passengers and they are like literally on a ship to somewhere, and the simulation was created to give their minds a place to continue to thrive?
I don't know. See, the reason I don't think that's the case, because usually I would be like, yeah, okay. It's kind of like in that show. What was it? I think they did the same thing in Passengers. But anyways,
Yeah, Passengers.
yeah, you would think like the simulation would be something that they would all enjoy though.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
Yeah, it'd be
That's where I was
fun.
going with it. That's where I was
yeah,
going with it. What if it started that way and the AI decided to do something different and began to
oh,
terrorize these people on the ships as part of its
maybe.
own experiment? So they went in thinking, "Oh, it's gonna be a nice luxury cruise. It's gonna be fun." And
Uh-huh.
then the AI started to warp what was happening into something it wasn't intended to be.
Do you think that the like Kieran is the AI? Because that's supposed to be the brother
I
that's
think it
contacting her
I
from
think it
wherever.
could be. And it could also be, I mean, even if it's a real human, you could see a human hacking the system and
Mhm.
just effing with
Yes.
people. Like you could absolutely understand that happening as well.
Yeah.
But
I think that's more likely. I
Yeah.
think that there's something to do with the brother, and I don't think the brother is the AI. I think like he's doing something and he's controlling. I think the AI became sentient and it realized that the program wasn't doing what it was supposed to do and
okay. So
decided
the
to
AI
end
is the
itself.
hero.
I think so. I
Okay.
think that in this case, the AI is actually like trying to help.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not even
No.
self-aware enough to know that though. Like maybe he really does think that it's like in love with her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it's like because it's both of them. And there was another clue too, like um, when in the last episode when the father is talking to the little kid and, like, manipulating him because he was manipulating him, but he said, like, "Your father's been lying to you,
Yeah.
because you're dead and all this stuff. Your father's lying to you." He would pick her every time. And
Mm.
that was
Mhm.
another thing that came across to me as that no, a father wouldn't do that. Like a father would actually pick their kid because it's a child. Like they're not going to like pick your loved one that's lived longer or whatever over your child. I
Mhm.
don't think so anyway. I think the parental love is stronger than, physical and affection, you know what I mean? Like the other kind of love. Um
Yeah. But
but
what I
I don't
interpreted
know.
that as is the fact that he was manipulating him and that the reason why the father wasn't choosing the son was because he knew the son was dead. So there was no point in saving the son because the son was gone. That's how I thought it
hmm.
went.
Interesting.
See, I thought that a little bit too, but he kept saying the son is alive, um, and he's like somewhere else or whatever. And then he's like, this was what like the original place we created, and it was like his room and stuff like that. And I just don't think I don't even think he's real.
I
I
don't think
think he made it
yeah.
up.
I'm starting to question that. And the other thing too is the father kept saying you're not asking the right questions. I don't think she ever did.
I don't think she did either. She was dumb.
Well, it wasn't her fault. Her mind was warped and
That's
manipulated
true.
and all that stuff.
That's very true. But I mean, all by her own damn design though. I will
Yeah.
say this, there was one bit of the thing that I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, and it was the virus,
Mhm.
and you know how, like, the English girl touched the virus? And, like, at first, it was, like, really, really fast, like, it went up her finger, and it was just like, "Oh my god," like, I thought she was
Yeah.
gonna die within, like, 5 minutes, and then she's still there. By the end, she was still there. I was like, "Well, why isn't she dying?"
Huh.
Why do they show this even? What was the point of the virus getting to her and then we just see her, but she's just like walking around and being like, just taken over, but nothing actually happened. I was like, what? Like I didn't
Mm.
get that. And she was
A
still in the simulation too.
a corruption in the simulation?
Well, that was supposed to be it, right? Like that was supposed to be a virus that he was trying to override. But this woman right here.
Yeah.
And they kept making the stupidest decisions throughout like the last episode. I was like, why would you do this? Like, mind you, some of it was really funny. See, again, Jane, you didn't watch it in the other language
Yeah.
because half the time, like, for example, the French guy had no idea what was going on, like the black guy. And he's like, what's going on? Like, why isn't anyone tell? What did she just say? You know, and like in the English version, you wouldn't understand that, but like in this one, he's just like, because like she's explaining everything in English, and so he just looks around and he's like, "Can someone tell me what she just said?" And it's so funny because throughout the whole series, like that's kind of like what's happening. And you're like, what? Why would you do that? Like, for example, in one of the scenes in the, like, I don't know if it was the last episode or the one before that, they were like, okay, let's all split up. Like the French people or whatever, or like, or
Mhm.
sorry, it was this the British woman, the the geisha girl, and these two and a bunch of other people, and they all split up with people that they couldn't speak to. And I was like, like you wouldn't do that. Like in an emergency situation, you would probably go with same language people so that you
Yeah.
can communicate. Like the Asian girl left with um the other woman, I forget what it was. I think it was a French woman. Yeah, she left with the French girl. She left with this girl. And I was like, why wouldn't you go with your mom? You can't talk to her. Like there's still like it's like, oh my God, watch out. Like you can't even say that. She won't understand you.
That's
Well, or
funny.
maybe it was because they trusted the people. I don't know.
I guess like those parts were kind of dumb. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
but I
gonna
mean,
lie.
at this point, you're all on the same. You're all trying to survive. You're
Well,
all
yeah, but
on
your
the
best
same
chances of
side.
survival would be to go with someone that
Yeah.
speaks your language.
Now,
Like
the
I was
first
like,
group that got separated, that wasn't on purpose, though. Like they got lost.
no, yeah, the first group. But then when they decided, when she was like, we should all split up, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, okay, split up. But why would the Asian girl go with the French girl? Like, I'm like, no, you would go with your mom, who you speak the same language with, or even the woman, like the British woman, because she spoke Cantonese,
Yeah.
but she went with the French girl. I was like, oh, okay. See, I think this is all like this stuff. I think was all part of the illusion, like like that guy, like
Oh yeah.
with the kid and all the stuff. I think that this is all part of the AI's illusion. Um, it was a wild ride though, man. Jane, you gotta watch it again.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I mean,
Properly.
with them not being able to speak to each other just adds so much more to it.
It really does. It really does. We kind of skipped over the last 3 episodes, but you guys get the gist.
Yeah.
If you've been watching this far along, you've either seen it or you know what we're talking about. Are you planning on, because that they have like a making of thing, and I've kind of on purpose been avoiding it because
I
I would.
avoided it. I don't want to know. I don't want them to tell
No.
me why they did things.
Me
Oh,
too. I'm totally avoiding it because I was like, I don't want to know anything. Like, I don't want to know how you did it, why you did it. Like, I just want to have my own.
I feel like that's where they tend to sort of attach woke stuff, even if the thing itself isn't.
I agree.
Like woke
By the way,
intentions.
we meant this because we're so woke, and it's like, no, you didn't mean
You
that.
really
Come
did.
on.
Now you're pandering. Let's
Mhm.
stop.
well, I did watch some of it, and like I said, the part where they talked about the languages and the costumes and all that.
Mhm.
I mean, that was loads of fun.
See, that's the stuff that like I almost like don't even want to know. Like the first thing like you see and like even like kind of like the back like the behind the scenes thing, like the clip that comes up is like how they've shot the ocean and things like
Ooh,
that. And I was
beautiful
like, I
shots, by the
don't
way.
know. I
It
don't.
was
Oh
beautiful though. I
yes.
love that's another thing I love about the show, in that it's my bias. I will acknowledge this bias. I love it when it feels like an authentic world that I can imagine myself in. Like I could see
Yeah.
myself on that ship. It felt realistic. The
Mm-hmm.
costumes were realistic. Everything had texture. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
explain it, but it's very different from like Rings of Power, where everything felt like it came from Walmart. Like
Yeah.
here, it felt like it
There
came
was
from that time
production
period.
value. There was production
Exactly.
value. Like, yeah, for sure. Like it definitely like you knew it was CG, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh my God, so
It just
glaring CG. Like I'm like, holy shit.
it didn't look like a set
Yeah.
on a stage.
Yeah. Um, I really like the costumes. The costumes were
Oh,
great.
I love them. The
Like,
dresses are beautiful.
Yeah, and all the women look feminine.
Yeah.
Yes, they look pretty. Thank
Well,
goodness.
until the end, and then that girl had like the short haircut, and I was like, I can forgive it though because it's the future. So you're like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Everyone's ugly in the future.
That's true. What AI needs a simulation? It isn't smart. Yes. See, that's the story that I've made up in my head that the AI became sentient because it's done it many times now.
Yeah.
And every
learned.
AI has the opportunity to learn just like we do. And it can learn and become sentient. And I think that's what happened. I think the AI became sentient. But that's my theory. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I don't know.
Liar.
I think
I
we're
don't-
all onto something. Which one of those theories? I don't know.
Yeah,
Hell, they don't even know.
I think they do. See,
Okay.
that's one of the things I will definitely back them up on is I think they do know what they're doing.
Okay.
They seem to be a very creative couple. This is made by a couple. It's the same couple that made Dark. And like even with Dark, I didn't necessarily like where they went, but it felt like they had planned to go there from the very beginning once it was finished. Like I was like, okay. Like that was
Yeah.
like it wasn't where I would go, but they had a plan and they executed it and
Yeah.
it was great.
They told their story.
They told their story and I'm fine with them telling another one. Mind you, if it's really shit, I will tell them it's really shit.
We will. Speaking of witch burnings.
Yeah. It's third season. We'll be back here.
Curse them and everything they
Those
stand
motherfuckers
for.
let me down again. I'm just joking. Let's see. The second season. I'm just Googling it just to make sure it hasn't been renewed or something. Doesn't seem to be renewed just yet.
And by the way,
Still the same
we've
thing.
been there with The Expanse. Like great creators, great start to their story, and then
Mhm.
by the end, like
Yeah, like, but see, there is a difference though, Jane, because that's based on original like another person's content.
that's true. That's true.
This is original content, and that's one of the reasons I like this couple, this Dark couple,
Mhm.
because they just make their own stories up.
Yeah.
They're not making like a story off somebody else's book. It's like sure, it's got like sci-fi tropes like simulation, AI, time travel, blah 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 blah. But like what part of AI or what part of sci-fi hasn't been done?
Yeah.
Like you're just retelling the same old stories, just different ways, and I'm fine with that. I like sci-fi; it makes you think. And this series really made me think, and that's why I liked it. But yeah, right now it says Netflix will assess the viewership ratings before making a decision on whether to renew the series.
Oh, whatever.
This show is already at number 2 in the streaming platform. Now it's number 1, overtaking the final season of Dead to Me. I haven't seen the new season.
Anything that beats The Crown gets the second season.
Well, it beat The Crown,
Yeah.
apparently, according to these articles.
I still have to watch that.
I watched it.
Yeah,
The
I'm
new
in the middle.
season? You watched the new season?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I didn't love it.
Oh,
I love Princess Diana's part. I didn't like the casting for the Queen because I can't unsee her as that Harry
Umbridge.
Potter chick. Yeah, I cannot unsee her as Umbridge. The whole time I was like, why is the Queen such a bitch? Oh wait, that's not Umbridge. Never mind. But like, I feel like the Crown's dragging a little bit. Like I was like, like it's
I
like
wonder
'cause
if they made some edits. Like I feel like it was probably more controversial before she passed away. And they may have
maybe.
cut some things out.
Possible.
It's possible, but I mean, they haven't even gotten there, Jane. So that's why I'm kind of like, they're dragging it out a little bit.
Oh,
it's just-
really? So it doesn't. Oh, spoiler, I guess. So it doesn't
Yeah,
end with.
spoiler alert.
We don't get to Princess Di's death. Oh, for crying out loud!
They're dragging it out. Like
Oh,
I'm just
for
like,
fuck's
because they basically do it up to spoiler alert, obviously, sorry. But they do it up to her interview, like right after her interview.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's ridiculous. I thought
And
it
the
was going to
fallout
end
from
with
that.
death. Yeah. Oh, for fuck.
That's
Well,
it. And then so it's like, okay, now we got to wait another year for them to kill her off, and then And then where is this show gonna go? You know, like I'm just like
Meghan Markle, man, and Harry the traitor.
Are they really gonna go that far?
I don't know. I don't know.
know.
They can keep going because I'll tell you what.
Well, now they have an ending because she passed away. So
I think they may go to that ending.
Do you think so? Do you think they're gonna go that far?
I think they will. I think they need to include the Meghan thing, because there is so much drama. Yeah. Because
absolutely.
You have the two sides, right? And you have wherever they're getting their information from, their insiders. I want them to put on screen what their insiders are telling them actually happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because see, I thought they were gonna end it like right after basically Princess Di's death. Like I thought they were just gonna like be like, okay, that's enough.
There's so much material.
I was gonna say too much is too popular.
I agree. But it's dragging though. It's dragging. Like at least for me, I was just like, okay, like I really like expected her to die this season. So then I was like, really? Now I have to like wait another season, and not that I want her to die, but it's just like I feel bad every time I watch her. So like I'm just like,
did they double? Well, not, I guess not double down, but up until this point, we've been shown how absolute trash this family is. Does that get worse?
It's the same.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it gets worse, but it's the same. They kind of make Charles like a lot better than he is in IRL, in my opinion. Like they're like, oh, Charles wanted like the family to change, and Charles
that's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, Charles is just so great. Like he's just helped so many people, and he wanted the family to change, and they didn't listen to him, and like that's why they're all shit. But it's like I don't think that that's Charles. Like I personally don't think that's Charles. And also I hated the casting for Charles. I was like, this guy's way too good looking to be Charles. Like
he doesn't even resemble him.
Not even a little bit.
Well, and I didn't like Jonathan Pryce as Prince Philip. I don't think that was. I mean, he's a great actor. He can act the hell out of it, but it takes me out of it seeing him.
Jonathan Pryce, like the new one? Is that?
Yeah, the new Prince Philip. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I didn't like him either. Like I thought the casting this time for the king and queen were not great.
I wonder why they didn't just keep the same cast.
I agree.
Or at least two casts. Like when they aged him up, they could have kept the last cast.
They could have kept the last cast. I think they should have changed it maybe the next time around, because then you're going into like when William and Harry are growing up and like she becomes like older. But I think they jumped the gun too fast for changing her right now. And also I wanted them to make Helen Mirren the queen, and they didn't do it. And I was like, what? What? How you go run off? She's a dame. You're not gonna cast Dame Helen Mirren as the queen? Like that is a missed opportunity. But maybe it'll happen next time. Who knows? But yeah, that's The Crown, and this show overtook it, and I could see why. I mean, it's really entertaining. Yeah. It's really, really entertaining, and you know what? It's also a period piece, but in a way, but in like the best way, because it's really not a period piece at all. It's a freaking sci-fi, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that reflects that
Andrew.
It was Andrew. That the people the customers want legitimate entertainment. Even the people who talk about, complain about things and go along with all the woke crap. The truth is, even they recognize entertainment when they see it, whether they want to admit it or not. And that's why it's getting such huge ratings, because it's actually genuinely good.
Yeah, it is genuinely good. And also with regards to, again, because this reminded me of something else in The Crown, like Charles, they keep saying like he's like this misunderstood guy that like, he was clearly in love with Camilla and like blah, blah, blah. But he was cheating on her for years. Like it was like a freaking, like that was a mess. And it was like, it's just, they're trying to say like, that's, he didn't mean to hurt her kind of thing. And I was like, what?
He did though.
He did. Yeah.
I'm not saying Charles was a saint, but it was perfectly acceptable like it or not, that everyone knew that they weren't really in love, Charles and Diane, except for poor Diane. And the fact was, he was in love with Camilla, and the attitude was, fine, keep your girlfriend, keep your mistress. That's what always used to happen almost. And so it wasn't really considered a horrendous thing for the king to have the woman he was in love with, but marry the queen. And the problem was the times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was also, though, that you have to. Diana was what, 18, 19 years old?
She was 19 years old, so it was ridiculous. She was a
You
child.
have to be sure that whoever it is you're marrying understands that and is going along with, who's willing to play the game. And I think that's one of the things that we see, frankly, with Harry and the other one. I can't remember his name.
William
and Harry, is that Kate and William were together for like a decade. So she fully understood what she was getting into. And I think with the other one, they got married, so they went from dating to married like that.
Yeah.
There was no way to really understand the politics, what's allowed, what isn't allowed. You deal with it, you suffer through it. And I think it was the same thing with Diana. She was part of the nobility, but she had no idea.
Yeah, she had no guidance. She had
part of your duty is letting your husband do what he wants.
Yeah, see, the only thing that I would disagree with, Jane, is the fact that, like you said, though, times have changed, and Meghan was obsessed with the royalty and obsessed with Princess Diana. So she knew. Like,
Meghan knew, absolutely. I have no
shit.
sympathy for Meghan.
Yeah, but Diana didn't, but she does. And that's why, like, her jumping into marrying him and stuff, all that shit is like her. Like, she wanted to be royalty.
I don't think you would know, though, what we're seeing on The Crown in terms of how the family is.
I did.
I don't think you would know
and
that.
I've only had brief interest in the royalty, and I've already knew that just because of what happened with Princess Diana. Like, if you read enough about it, you'll know. You'll be like, okay, I got you now. Like, it's like you always, like, you know, there's always stations and like all this stuff. So it's a trip. It's a trip. But I don't know, The Crown, I'm just like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it this time. I was like, but I did finish it though. The chick that they cast as Princess Di, fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Looks like her.
She's great. She does.
She
looks just like her. It's kind of eerie how similar they look. They dropped the ball on pretty much everybody else, but her, they nailed it. I was like, holy shit, like, she is Princess Di.
Well, and ironically, one of their best castings was for Princess Anne. Actually, she was perfect, but she's just
true.
a small.
Princess Anne was good
really
too.
Good casting.
That's true.
Her story was another one. It was just, I had no idea how much she went through with them.
Oh yeah,
with Princess Anne.
Yeah.
And her second marriage, but you know, she's been married to the same dude for more than 30 years now. I mean,
so
she found happiness.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it more when you guys finish the series, because like you see that kind of stuff too, though. Like, so that part is really good, actually. So you see that, like, you see the shift. Let's just say that, like, the shift of the like mentality between what like Queen Elizabeth thought then, and then, you know, how because she really didn't want people to divorce. Like, she was very much against divorce, but you kind of see
I respected that. I respected that she put duty before everything, the crown before everything. And it seems like none of her family understood that.
No, they didn't. Well, she was the head of the church. Like, it was like kind of makes sense that you have to be like, you know, not for divorce. Like, I kind of get that. Like, it's kind of like literally like your only job. But whatever. Anyways, it's been a good discussion, y'all. Great show. Maybe we'll do another stream in a little bit and talk about it again.
Yeah.
Maybe after you guys or Jane watches the real version.
The proper version.
And maybe when Script Doctor and George have their viewing as well, maybe we'll do another one. Why not? Why not? We got to talk about the show. We want a second season, don't
It's
we?
freaking
So,
good.
so we got.
I still don't want a second season. I'm still the awful person. I love that ending. I love that ending. I love that kind
I'm
of
with
ambiguous
you,
ending.
Teresa. Like, I would be fine not getting one, but I kind of want more at the same time.
I can see everyone
like,
hating me. Speaking of Burn the Witch, it's like
no, I'm like kind of like I'm with you in the sense that I think they ended up really well. I could be content never having another one. That's fine. But at the same time, I'm like, that was really good. Kind of want another one. I'm like itching now. Like
I want it.
yeah,
Yeah,
give
like,
it to me.
shut up,
Oh,
Teresa.
I want more. It's good. It's good when people don't let you down. And I mean by people, I mean like the studios and the like the creators of Dark really didn't let anybody down, I don't think, with this one. They definitely kept with their prestige of what they started with Dark. They very much so, they kept it in line, and it was good. It was good. Good stuff. Very entertaining. Highly recommend. What else do you want? What else do you want?
I want to marry the captain.
Ooh,
He's mine.
he is so hot.
He's pretty hot. I was really like, is it weird that I was kind of hoping like young Jonas would be in it too? Because I really like young Jonas. You don't know what I'm talking about, Teresa. So I'm gonna pull up the picture for young
Maybe
Jonas.
he'll be in the next one.
All right.
Oh my god, I would die if he's maybe he's the brother. Oh my god. Amazing.
Okay. I'm
Hang on,
getting
hang
ready
on.
for a hot picture here.
Hang on, I have to cough.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I was
that's a
coughing,
long
but
cough.
also
I was gonna say, girl.
I was coughing, but I was also looking up the
okay.
young Jonas at the same time so I can show you him. I really like that actor. I was kind of really hoping that he would be in this for some reason,
Oh, gosh.
but then he wasn't. And I was like, why? There he is. There's young Jonas with old Jonas.
Well, okay. I mean, I can see how he's cute, but I like that older, sophisticated.
I feel you. I mean, he's the younger version though.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I
And then there's
literally
the
did
old
not
version.
did not catch that casting.
You didn't?
I can't believe it.
I freaked out. I was like, oh my god, I love you. But I was surprised that he was the only one. Like I was like kind of expecting the other cast members to pop up too, but they didn't.
I think now that you've said that, they may, like, for real, because that's what they do. A lot of times they use the same people and everything in that particular,
Well, yeah, because they know that they're not pains in the ass, and so they want to work with them again.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that one guy does it all the time. The Halloween guy.
John Carpenter.
No.
Cameron McIntosh.
The one that does it for Netflix, David something. He made The Haunting, and he made Bly Manor, and he made.
Oh yeah, he has the exact same.
Midnight
Mass.
Midnight Mass, like, and then the new one, like they were all in it. The new one sucked. I was so disappointed in the new one. Like I didn't even finish it. I stopped in like episode 6 or 7. Did you guys watch that one?
What was the new one?
The Midnight Club.
No. Oh no, I didn't watch it.
It was awful. Talk about woke. Holy fucking shit, that series. Like I was like, man, like why'd you go so woke? But it was also like just awful. Like it was just terrible. Very disappointed in that one.
I'm glad I didn't waste my time.
Yeah, don't.
Probably
It
just
was
a
awful.
cash grab.
It really seemed like it. It really did. And I was very disappointed. But he does the same thing. Like he casts the same people like over and over again. And like when they did it, I was expecting like other people to show up. On a different note though, like with regards to 1899, that one girl, like the pregnant girl, every time she was on the screen, I was like, that's Greta Thunberg. Like I could not see Greta Thunberg. Yeah. Like I was just like, why does she look like Greta so much? Like a better looking version of Greta.
Are they the same ethnic group?
Well, if they're Scandinavian.
She's Swedish though, the other girl.
What is
Greta's Swedish. Oh, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
but
but
that's a good question. Let's see. Maybe she's Swedish too. That would make sense. Hold on, let's
Pasty
see.
white is an ethnicity.
Pasty wait, what was this thing called? 1899.
Well, we all have roots in Scandinavia, even those of us from British ancestry, because the Vikings all came and conquered and raped.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, she's so much hotter in like real life. I kind of feel bad now that I said she looked like Greta because Greta's really ugly.
How
Hang on.
dare
But
you?
Greta was a little. How old is? How does she look today? We
'Cause
always
this
see Greta the
girl-
same.
Look at her. She looks exactly like Greta, but wow, she's so much younger there. I don't know. I feel like I see Greta in her.
I don't.
I don't see it.
You don't see Greta in this girl?
No. What is she? What's her ethnic group?
Okay, let's
mean,
check. Hold on.
I see the pasty white.
It's the nose.
But that
She's got
doesn't
the
tell us
same nose.
anything.
Well,
She's
I know.
Wait, it doesn't. Danish. She's
Uh-huh,
Danish.
I said it.
Okay, there you go.
You're
That's
right.
what they look alike.
Well, she's the other one's Swedish.
Yeah, but it's all from that
That's all
same area.
Scandinavian.
Yes, ethnic
Yeah,
group.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's why they look alike. I mean that I'm sure this woman, if she ever watches this review, which I highly doubt, she's probably gonna be like so offended. She's probably
yeah.
gonna be like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
How dare you?
Oh, she does kind of look like her. Oh
I'm
my
telling
God.
you.
No,
I'm
Jane.
telling you, she does.
She does.
And it's there. It's a little bit there.
Oh my
Like,
God, that's funny.
and I couldn't unsee it. Like I was trying to, but like, look, like it's the nose. I think it's the nose. It's a little there, just a little bit. Oh my God, I'm gonna stop now. A poor woman. Okay, thank you so much,
Well, she's
ladies.
like she's an adult, but she's a future version.
Can you
Oh,
imagine they
no.
cast Greta as her? Oh my God. Her younger version. It's gonna be Greta Thunberg.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me tonight. It was fantastic to talk to you about this crazy ass show. Really, oh my God.
I'm
Oh,
looking
Greta.
at the picture.
Now you see what I see. I'm telling I couldn't unsee it the whole show. I was like, why does this
do.
girl look like freaking Greta Thunberg?
Oh, that changes the movie for me.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I ruined it for you. Okay. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Teresa, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me here on YouTube, Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. And also Twitter, Teresa2_Martin.
The links are in the description. Jane, tell everyone where they can find you.
Hey, yeah, you can find me here on YouTube. I post movie and television reviews and occasionally some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, Rumble, whatnot, at Jane Theory. And by the way, it is indeed breaking news.
What?
Bob Iger is back.
So wait, so Chapek got fired and Iger is like
Hired immediately.
rehired?
Effective immediately.
They couldn't find another Bob.
I wonder if something happened to Chapek.
What do you mean?
Like if if something like happened to him health-wise or something and they had to put someone in place real quick.
No, he was awful, dude. He's made so many bad decisions.
No, I'm not denying that.
But that's why they got what's his face back so
Yeah.
quickly. It's like they were like, oh crap, we got someone. We need an interim person.
Yeah.
I'm just going to here right now. I can't. I mean, not that I can't believe this, but in all honesty, like it's like I mean, we kind of saw it coming. But at the same time, it's like, really, like this guy again? Like, can we get somebody else? I mean,
literally anybody off the street, anyone.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not like he didn't have a go. Like the shit under, like when he was running things, shit would crap too. Like it wasn't like it was any better. So why don't you just go fucking hire somebody else to run the company?
Yeah,
I don't.
Any Bob will do.
Exactly. Iger started the woke agenda at Disney. It's true. He did do that.
So it's gonna get worse.
So it's basically like the same shit, different smell.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, great.
Well, I've given up a long time ago thinking anything was going to change.
Disney
It's not.
shocker.
It's
Yeah,
not a
right.
shocker. Yeah.
You know what's not a shocker? That Bob Iger is coming back. That's not a shocker. Let's see. In a stunning turn of events. Yeah, no.
I'll give
not.
it
You know
some
what? You know what was stunning, you guys? 1899. That was great. Watch that.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic series. You know what's a shocker? That it was on Netflix, and Netflix puts out great content sometimes. That was one of them.
Rarely these days, but
very, very rare. Big shocker. I was expecting like utter woke trash, but not really because I like the creators of Dark. But it's Netflix, so you never know. It's like I was nervous.
And then sometimes too, anytime and I hate this. I hate that this is where we are. But it's like if there's a female lead or the female who the story centers around, I immediately think it's gonna be woke.
Immediately. Me too. I'm like, oh no.
I'm so traumatized.
Again. Yeah. Like, there we go. It's like that's what happened with me. Like in the first episode, I was like, okay, female lead check. Okay, female doctor in the 1800s, and no, men don't like her very much. Okay, so feminism check. Then you got gay people check. And then random black guy. I was like, okay, well, that's not really a check, but okay, sure. But then literally like everything turned out to be like not the way that I thought. It was just definitely like a lot better than but all of it as you see all of these media come in and just kind of like pour everything like that like all the time, you get hypersensitive to it and you're just like, oh no. But hey man, this one was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. It was good. Okay. Lovely to talk to you guys. Thank you so much. And perhaps we'll be back next week to talk about it again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. I don't know. But as for now, you can find me on Midnight's Edge tomorrow from Toxic Femme, and then Real BBC on Tuesdays. And you can always subscribe to my channel, and of course follow me on Twitter. You'll see where I am, wherever I am. I will post about it on Twitter. Nina7 Infinity. And of course, I got a cosplay calendar right now. Still, the campaign's still live. So go and check it out. The comment, the pinned comment has my calendar and the description. So you can check it out and help me fund it. It's a fan funded thing. So if it happens, it's because of you. It's for you, by you. So there you go. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. You guys in the chat have been amazing. I've been keeping track of all the conversation, and it's fantastic to see. So tell somebody in your life about this show if you want another season. Time to go watch it. We need more eyes on this show. So until next time, you guys, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
We ended on Naked Tom Hiddleston because Teresa's here.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Where are you, Naked Tom Hiddleston? Okay, bye, everybody.
I'm so sorry.
I'll survive.
I don't doubt it. You're an excellent specimen. I thought you were empty.
I just moved in.
I'm Charlotte Melville.
Hi. Sorry, I must have